We are live.
Radio.
And the name of that intro is Copyright Strike That, bitches.
That's right. It's called old School Original. That's what it's
That's
called.
exactly what it's called.
We thank Dan for coming back and giving that to us too.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Love you guys.
Yeah, love you too, buddy. Sony Music, whatever entertainment can go shove it. So
Well, Sony wasn't the problem. That's the thing. Is Facebook was the issue. Sony was just releasing it every week, saying, "Oh, leave them guys alone." Fuck.
oh well, that is true. That is true.
So.
Yeah, that is true. As with a lot of things, Facebook is the problem. So
and then the countdown thing was kind of stupid. It's just it's a fucking countdown.
That was actually, yeah, you're right. That was actually even worse.
Yeah, it was. So being in web developing, I know a little bit, but I've created a countdown before. So congrats for you. Wanting your name on a countdown. Jesus fucking Christ.
And the messed up thing is like
takes all of 30 minutes to create. Thank you.
Yeah. And the messed up thing is I had never even like heard of Star Hits before until they started pulling that shit. I was like, what the fuck is Star Hits?
Well,
I don't even know what that is.
We've been using it for, not only on this show, but other shows on the platform for I'm gonna hum the countdown. I'm gonna hum it. But yeah, so I mean, it's like not only us, but there's other shows on the platform that use it. So we're all, are getting that. I'm pretty sure. So I haven't really talked to any of the other podcasters.
Yeah, and I have the distinct feeling that countdown video predated our show even coming on the platform. So I mean, there's no telling how long that countdown had even been around.
Yes.
And we've been using it for a year and a half.
But it's probably a thing where they see numbers and they thought like, oh, we'll jump in on their success or whatever.
Oh, they're good. Oh, we've got somebody riding our coattails. I see.
Yeah. But,
I hope.
I don't. I mean, I call it. I don't know success, but I definitely call it progress.
That's true. That's true.
But, anyway.
Yeah, I hope we get to the level of success where people want to ride our coattails.
we could have a whole other show about just that topic probably, but I'll digress anyway. So
yeah.
So anyway, we're welcome everyone to another episode of Metalheads Unite on this beautiful cold Saturday morning here. But
yeah, it's weird.
We're in May and it's like 50 degrees outside.
Yeah,
are we still in the south or?
Yeah, it was strangely chilly outside this morning.
Was it like 80 yesterday or something like that?
I think it was 82 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Before we headed downtown to Nashville, we had to deal with some of that rain. But yeah, so I mean, I go outside to take the dog out this morning for the show, and the breeze hit me. And I was like, "What the hell?" He's looking around like, what the fuck's going on?
Now, speaking of Nashville, we're fresh off the middle of the year tour. So Megadeth, Lamb of God, Trivium, and In Flames. Definitely a just title, I believe.
Yeah. I was gonna say they picked a very apt name for that. Yeah.
I was talking about this on the way back last night. We in a week we've went through two of the best tours going right now, I believe. So last week was the Bay Strikes Back.
Yep.
With Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel. And then this week for the metal tour. I'm sorry, I was screaming last night, so I'm gonna be scratchy today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was definitely worth the money, that's for sure. So
yeah, we've definitely seen 7 amazing bands over the last 8 days. So
yeah, like it's just unreal to think about. How fortunate as a metal fan to get to do that. So, and of course, we seen a lot of familiar faces at this show that we did last show. So
that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, and I want to call those guys out. Like Dana's been a really cool guy, and he runs a page on Facebook called Metal and Tats,
Metal and Tats. Yep.
So it's tattoo and metal kind of combined, which kind of goes hand in hand. But
yeah, they do.
So just want to appreciate him for meeting up with us and finally putting faces to names.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've kind of tried to catch each other a couple times already and just missed. So it was good to finally meet up last night. So
yeah, we were inadvertently playing hide and seek with those guys last week.
So metal tour of the year. A little recap. Anything you want that stuck out to you?
Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily know of anything that stuck out. I mean, and I mean that in a good way. I mean, everything met my expectations. I mean, the show was as good as I thought it was going to be. And you and I had talked, obviously, after the show. We were, fresh off of everything. We were talking about, obviously the three headliners of, Megadeth, Lamb of God, and Trivium. Obviously, we had seen them before, but neither one of us had seen In Flames before. And truth be told, for me personally, I don't know about you how familiar you were with In Flames, but I hadn't really been super duper familiar with them. I mean, they played Cloud Connected and Take This Life on bookends of their set, so those were the two songs that I basically knew the most. And then everything else that they had played, and I hadn't had time this morning to look up the set lists from last night, because you and I were talking about compiling another playlist like we did for the show last week. So I hadn't had time to do that yet. So I can't remember exactly the names of the other songs they played. But like I say, I wasn't super duper familiar with In Flames' catalog, but their performance was great.
Yeah, I thought it was a real good pick for an opener, that's for sure. So it definitely got the coming out with a Preds jersey on probably helped him a little bit.
Well, yeah, a little bit of local pandering never hurt anybody.
Yeah,
so
right. So,
but the only thing that I noticed, and I didn't really notice it too much until Trivium came on, is with the only thing that kind of bothered me about In Flames' set is I don't think they had the sound 100% right for the drums. I don't know if you could tell from down where you were, but back sitting in the seats where we were, I kind of noticed I noticed a little bit of secondhand distortion in the bass drum. Obviously it wasn't a deal breaker or anything, but I kind of thought it didn't sound right. And then when Trivium started playing, I was like, yep, I was right. They didn't have the drums tuned right. But like I say, it was minor. That was like the only gripe I had about their set, but it wasn't In Flames' fault, sound guy's fault.
Right,
so,
right.
But the stage that even though they were first and they were only up there for maybe like 30, 35, 40 minutes, I think it wasn't super long. Their stage setup was even cool. They had plenty of cool effects and everything. The lighting was cool. The lighting was cool all night long. But
yeah, I think Lamb of God may have stole the show with that stage presence. But
hell yeah, man.
But of course, with Megadeth, you had Vic come out and all that.
Oh yeah, still had Vic make an appearance, which was cool as shit. So
yeah. So we had.
And what I've always liked about Megadeth, and I've only seen them live twice, but I've seen plenty of live performances. Like I've seen I've got the Big Four DVDs and everything, so I got to see that performance. What I've always kind of liked about Megadeth is they get up there, they don't fuck around. They get up there, they play, and they leave.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. We were talking about it last night. As talking about how there's really no fade outs in any Megadeth songs. It's like start and end, next song. So it's kind of like it's kind of a unique experience because Dave did talk a little bit, but he doesn't talk near as much as like the guys from Exodus, Death Angel did the week before. So those guys at the show last week, they would talk and get you hyped up, which is cool. Obviously, of course, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But Dave does a little more of just letting his music do the talking, which is also fine. So, but it's just kind of funny. It's like, here's our song, end, next. Here's our song, end, next. It's just,
I thought it was cool too that he brought out the sound guy and gave him a little 50-year present there. So
50-year-old bottle of Cavassier. Yeah.
Ladies man would be proud.
That's right. Yeah.
And then of course he had the little incident with security that he took care of, which was kind of funny. But
it was great.
He said, "Hey, we're here to have a good time, man. Leave them damn people alone."
Yeah, and it was
so funny. Like, caught me. He's like, "I'll have you escorted out." I was like, "Wow,
what? Right?
Pretty wild."
Because that's the funny thing is like it was in between songs, and when the spotlight came back up and he started talking, I thought for about 2 seconds I thought it was part of it. It was like, no, he was fucking like serious. He's like, hey,
well, he came back and apologized afterwards, so
yeah,
it was pretty serious when he apologized. So
yeah,
which he didn't need to apologize with me.
Nah, I didn't think so.
It's just like he said, he needed, the guy didn't realize why he was there, obviously. So
yeah. But yeah, I mean, but all of the performances were fantastic. All of the, well, with the exception of Trivium. I mean, their performance was great. Don't get me wrong, but there were all four sets were great. I would have, we talked about it when we were pulling out of the parking garage. I would have liked to have seen Trivium play a couple of different songs, but the songs that they played I wasn't upset with, but there was a couple other ones I would have liked to have heard, but they only had so much time to fill. But I think of all four bands, I think Lamb of God played like a perfect set. Like every single song they played would have been like, if you could have asked anybody walking in, what would you like to hear Lamb of God play? And I think they played every single one of those songs that everybody would have wanted to hear, but Megadeth, they've been around since 1983. So, I mean, there's obviously going to be some songs that don't get played. And same thing with Trivium. They haven't been around that long, but I mean, hell, they're up to 10 studio albums now too. So I mean, obviously trying to fill 60 or 70 minutes or however long their set was, obviously there's going to be some, snubs, but definitely not. If I sound like I'm complaining, I'm not. I'm just I'm not complaining.
Well, it comes to the thing is where if they go out and they play everything you want to hear, what's the purpose of you buying another ticket later?
Well, sure.
It's unless you're just just a diehard fan. Which if they came back again next year, I would still go.
Oh God, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Even if they played everything that they had in their arsenal this time, I'd still go because
me too.
It's just how, because if you are a true music fan in general, not just metal, but if you are a true music fan, every show is different. So you're not gonna come and say, oh, well, that's just like last year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, nobody's ever going to say that. But if they do, then they're stupid. But
right, because I mean, you and I have even seen Metallica multiple times, and with the exception of like the ones you're going to get, there's even their set list is different every time. So
which my gap was from seeing Metallica, my gap was from 94 to 16. So I mean, I had a pretty good gap. The bad thing was is they did play a lot of stuff at the 94 show that I went to because they were on their live shit, tour, and they played and I remember like James saying like, you guys, they had like 2 encores. I mean, that's just how nobody wanted to leave. And then James was just like, fuck it. You guys want to be here all night? And we'll play the y'all guys fucking roll out of here. So they did. They played. I want to say it was a 2.5 hour set. So I mean, of course they're not in their 20s and 30s anymore, so they can't do that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Well, and hell, you're not even allowed to do that anymore because of all the venues and curfews and all that bullshit. Because
luckily that was the Starwood days and it was outside. So
yeah. Rest in peace, Starwood Amphitheater.
Just sitting there, growed up with nothing on
it. Because nowadays, if you go to a show and a band's like, oh, well, we'll play all night if you guys will let us, which is bullshit. Because first of all, everyone would stay and you would play all night. And 2, no, the venue won't let you. So
I can't remember who I've seen, but I want to say it was Five Finger Death Punch, and they were he actually was Ivan was actually in his earpiece, and he said, "Hey, sorry guys, they're trying to tell me I gotta go," and he said, "Hold on a second," and he he was on his microphone at the time. He said, "Hey," he said, "Who's in charge? Who's in charge?" He was like asking anybody out there who's in charge, whatever. And he said, "Hey, ask them what it costs to go longer." And they was like, "Oh well, it's like $1,500 if you stay past this time or whatever." He said, "Oh, is that it? We're playing." I was like, "Wow, okay," but they didn't do too much longer after that. But they did do like 3 or 4 more songs. But
still, I mean, hell.
But yeah, I mean, he probably had to pay the piper for it. But with the money that they're making, it probably didn't matter. But
shit, $1,500 extra dollars. They just probably took it out of the gate. They made that just from the merch table.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was actually an actual show or if it was one of the festivals I went to. I can't remember, but I do remember it was Five Finger that did that. But some stuff like that just kind of sticks out when you go and see people. So it's I think it's the thing that stuck out to me in the show was not being able to get out of the redneck pit.
That was one.
It escalated very quickly. Not saying I wouldn't have gotten into it, but not in the best of shape to be doing that anymore. So, which I've been hit up by a friend of mine to do a one-time off wrestling show, and I've kind of been debating that, but we'll see what happens. I guess so.
So basically what you're saying is you're in the kind of shape for that bad Leroy Brown mosh pit last week.
I don't even know if I can handle that one. Just my cardio sucks. So I do a couple laps and I'm out. So but yeah, it was probably it was one of the bigger pits that I've seen at an indoor show anyway. Of course, like I said, I watched Anthrax Indians mosh pit on the outdoor show, which was pretty freaking wild. I'd probably say a couple hundred to 1,000 people involved in that thing. So I actually got video of it somewhere. I was just like, holy shit, that's huge. Like a hurricane on a map just coming across. That's what I felt like last night. It's like it's almost like a hurricane picking up steam, and I got caught in it.
And that was the thing. Like Kayla and I, we were sitting back behind. We were elevated. Because we were up and back behind the sound booth and everything. And when he said he wanted to see the biggest circle pit, of the night, and as soon as he said the name of the song before the guitar even kicked in, you saw it. And
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we saw it form, and then I actually in my head I was like, I want, because I had seen some of the pictures you had taken from the earlier sets, so I was like, oh shit, okay, so he's basically to the left of the stage standing there, and I saw it form. I was like, holy shit, I wonder if I actually wondered if you would have gotten caught up in that. So
yeah, we did for a second, but then we kind
yeah.
of got out of it.
Well, they definitely followed Randy Blythe's instructions. So
they did, yeah. There was a few people that were, like I said, I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people standing to the back of the fence there that separated the general admission from the floor there. So
yeah.
But
yeah, it was a great show. It was a great show.
It was like we backed up and then it got bigger. So I had to back up
that's it. I mean, you made more room for it. So
yeah, so I'm okay with that. I mean, I have no problem making room for anybody to want, because I was, like I said, I was in my 20s and did that kind of crazy shit. So
oh yeah,
so I'm all for everybody having a good time. So
hell yeah, man. And it was a good time, and
it was, yeah.
I could tell everyone was having a good time. It was great, except for like the two people in front of us, because like we were saying when we were sitting at Waffle House last night, I didn't see them move for like 4 hours. Like not one horn, not one round of applause. I was like, are these fuckers alive?
Sorry,
Kayla said she saw one guy take one picture, and then I didn't even see that. I didn't even see him move.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty it must have been one of those 1029 winners or something.
Probably. Yeah.
They were like, oh, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, probably.
This ain't the Red Light Kings.
Oh God! Someone told me 21 Pilots was supposed to be here.
Yeah. Wrong show, buddy.
Yeah, totally wrong show.
All right, well, I guess we bored everybody enough with that recap, so we can move on into the norms of the show here.
That's right.
Hopefully, I can get through this, because I actually I printed this out because I had all of everything done. Almost down to I was going through the hitting the road segment, and my laptop was doing an update or something, and then restarted itself. So I lost all of my stuff in Word. So I was just like, I happened to think, I said, why am I not doing this in OneNote? Because it automatically saves in OneNote, so I don't have to worry about saving or anything. So I started doing it in OneNote. Only thing is, I got to figure out how to print it out where I can read it. So
that's true.
It's very small, so I'm going to try to do my best I can today. So,
and there were a lot of birthdays this week. I don't even do the birthday segment, but even I saw, as I was going through the list trying to compile, the current events, I even saw all the stories of all the birthdays. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought there was a lot.
I may have missed a few then, but I mean, I got a lot, but I still may have missed a few because it's not the biggest one I've ever done, but we'll see. If you happen to remember any names that I don't mention, please please say so.
Yeah, I'll try.
All right, birthdays I have from May 1st to the 7th. I had May 1st, we had Mark Scott, drummer for Trickster, Andrew Rockhold, aka Andy Leo, singer and keyboardist from Crown the Empire. May 3rd, we had Josie Scott, vocalist for Saliva, or not anymore, but that's what he's known for. Then we had Bobby Blitz Ellsworth, vocalist for Overkill. May 4th, we had Mick Mars, guitarist for Motley Crue, of course. And this was an interesting thing that I found when doing this was they have an alternate birth date for him as April 4th. So I'm kind of like, okay, how old is the guy really then? But
of course, it is Mick Mars. He probably was born twice.
Well, that is true. So, and then May 5th was the big day. May 5th had a few. So run through these real quick. May 5th, we have Bill Ward, a drummer for Black Sabbath. Dick Kemper, vocalist and bassist for Vandenberg. Steve Stevens, guitarist and songwriter for Billy Idol. We had James Labrie, singer for June Theater. Sean Drover, drummer for Megadeth from 2004 to 2014. We had Wade McNeil, guitarist for Alex is on Fire. And then we had Sky Sweetnam, singer and songwriter for Sumo Psycho. Then May 6th, I had Chris Shefflett, guitarist for the Foo Fighters. And then May 7th, I had Phil Wizzo Campbell, guitarist for Motorhead. Johnny Lee Middleton, bassist for Sabotage. Horg, writer or Radar, maybe. Horhagen, drummer for Immortal and Hypocrisy. And then Stian Arneson, he's a multi instrumentalist for Nagash and Lex Icon. When I say multi instrument, I mean he was listed as a singer, guitarist, bassist, drummer, keyboard. I was just like, you know what? I'm not saying all that. He's a multi instrumentalist.
So he was the band.
He was. He did it. He did a little bit of everything for those two bands. So I don't know if you.
Yeah, I have I actually, looking back through my notes, I actually have a couple. I have also back on May 5th, I have Prismind guitarist Kerry Caroluk and Strapping Young Lad founder Devin Townsend. We're both on May 5th as well. So,
well, see, there you go. So, my sources don't have them all. So, it's good to know. I do go through two different sources, but that doesn't mean anything. Anyway, happy birthday to those. If we missed anybody, happy birthday to you as well. And of course, like always, if anybody out there had a birthday this week, happy birthday to you. And thank you for joining it with us today if you have one today. So, all right. I guess we can kick into some news this week. There's a little bit of that. I mean,
yeah, there's a little bit of that. And unfortunately, like, you know, as happens from time to time, as we've found out in everyday life and as we found out here on the show, excuse me, it's not always good news. And that's also the case here this week. Leading off over at blabbermouth.net, Rick Parnell, who played Mick Shrimpton, the drummer of Spinal Tap in the mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap, has died at the age of 70. Parnell was also a one-time member of Atomic Rooster, a 1970s British hard rock / progressive rock band, which was led by extraordinary keyboardist Vincent Crane. Rick played drums on solo albums for Radio Birdman's Dennis Tech, who played tribute to his friend in a social media post on Sunday, May 1st. He wrote, quote, Rick Parnell died early this morning. From day one meeting him, I found him to be engaging, warm, and delightfully funny. We hit it off as pals immediately. He had a cheerful spirit that made you feel good just being around him. Rick's amazing history in the music world is well known. I had the good fortune to work with Rick on 3 albums. Studio time was casual, fun, and scattered with stories and humor. Rick never actually prepared for a session, but would come up with the beat and the arrangement on the spot. He would say, "How does this next song go?" I'd play it to him on a guitar, and he'd think about it for a minute. Then he would say, "Right, got something." Then he would nail it in 1 or 2 takes, and it was as perfect as it gets. Rick was one of a kind. He lives on in his music and in our hearts, end quote. Parnell's big break came in 1984 when he played the role of Mick Shrimpton in This Is Spinal Tap. His character was one of a long line of unfortunate drummers who all perished from freak accidents, his own fate being spontaneous combustion. In a 2007 interview with Missoulian, he said about how he landed the role, quote, "The first question they asked was, what do you think about a movie that's going to tear your career apart? I said, you should have made this movie about 10 years ago." Then they asked what other bands I'd been in, and I said, well, I was in a band called Atomic Rooster. They looked at each other and said, yep, that's it. You're our man, end quote. According to Wikipedia, Parnell remained with Spinal Tap when it became a working band, recording a soundtrack album and promoting the film with live shows and a 1984 appearance on Saturday Night Live. The character of Mick Shrimpton having died in This Is Spinal Tap, Parnell assumed the role of his twin brother, drummer Rick Shrimpton, for the group's appearances subsequent to the film. This continued through the band's 1992 reunion album Break Like the Wind and the associated concert tour. Parnell was not a part of more recent Spinal Tap activity. So I know, I'm sure you've seen This Is Spinal Tap, and I've seen it before too. It's been a while, but I've seen it before too. It's super duper funny. You know, if you guys haven't seen it, you know, find it somewhere and watch it. They call it a mockumentary for a reason, but it's so funny.
It is great.
But yeah. So yeah, so our condolences to Rick Parnell's friends and family and everything else.
All right. I think we had another one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want me to go through all three of these, I can go ahead and do that, and then we can kind of move
Get back
away
into
from
good
the sad
spirits.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna move over to metalsucks.net for our next one. Um, Sad news for the metal noise and experimental music world today. Today being May 1st. This was earlier this week, as Gabe Serbian, drummer for mysterious noise rock band The Locust, died yesterday, April 30th, 2022. According to Metal Archives, Gabe died 1 day short of his 45th birthday. The Locust posted the following statement on their Facebook, quote, "It's with heavy hearts that we have to share the passing of Gabe Serbian on April 30th, 2022. This world will miss Gabe as a friend, family member, musician, and artist. He will continue to live on in so many ways and through everyone he has connected with during his time with us. May 1st is his birthday, and we hope that you can find a way to celebrate his life. During this difficult time, we ask that you give Gabe's family privacy," end quote. The Locust wasn't Gabe's only contribution to the rock and metal world. He was also the founding drummer and one of the earliest guitarists for vegan death metalers Cattle Decapitation. Vegan death metalers Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, all right. I've heard of Cattle Decapitation, but I didn't know they were vegan death metalers. But hey, do you, boo boo? And performed vocals for experimental crossover thrash act Dead Cross until he was replaced by Mike Patton in 2016. But it was with the Locust that Gabe left his most irritated hive on the face of the rock world. Serbian played guitars in the band until 2001, at which point he took over drumming. His frenetic rhythms and explosive live performances quickly became the stuff of underground legend and made the band one that hit extremely hard with a certain type of unorthodox fan. To break the fourth wall, the Locusts were always one of the most extreme bands out there for me growing up. That being the words of the artist, or the author rather, not me. I've never seen these guys. So they were one of those bands you spoke about with respect because they were so intense and jarring that they were a little scary. And a whole lot of that was their absolutely insane drumming. While I wasn't familiar with Serbian personally, as a name, which was seemingly part of the Locust masked MO, I was always amazed by his performances. Everyone at Metal Sucks sends their heart out to Gabe's family, friends, collaborators, and fans during this time. A GoFundMe has been launched to benefit Gabe's wife and 2 children, which is hyperlinked in this story over at Metal Sucks if you want to check that out. So please give if you can. So, I mean, 44, 1 day short of 45 years old. I mean, dudes our age, you know. So, I mean, every time we have to do one of these stories, we talk about, everyone being gone too. I mean, even Rick Parnell, 70. 70 is not old anymore. 70 is not old at all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's getting there. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, but I mean, 70's not unheard of like it, like it used to be. So
it's a little easier to accept, though, I think, than 40.
Well, sure. I mean, I definitely give you that one, but it's still never easy to have to read stories like this. I mean, even Betty White was like 18 days away from being 100, and when she died, that so that sucked too. But I mean,
well, that's because everybody was rooting for her to hit the 100.
Right. But I mean, even then, people are, how did she die? She was 99. That's how she died.
Yeah.
And then back to Blabbermouth for this one. This one came out earlier this week too. So, but anyway, a 53-year-old man was found dead at this year's edition of Bonfest, the annual celebration of the life and music of AC/DC legend Bon Scott. The event takes place in the small Scottish town of Kirriemuir, Bond's original hometown. I hope I said that right, all you folks in Scotland. I'm sorry if I didn't. The man's body was found on the second day of the 2022 Bondfest, which started on Friday, April 29th and ran until Sunday, May 1st. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, quote, around 1:10 p.m. on Saturday, 30th of April, officers attended a report of the death of a 53-year-old man at the Bonfest festival site near Kirriemuir. The death is not being treated as suspicious, and as with all sudden deaths, a report will be sent to the Procurator Fiscal, end quote. I don't know what that's obviously something Scottish. The Procurator Fiscal. That's something. That's why it took me a second. I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. The Bonfest organizers issued a separate statement saying that they were, quote unquote, greatly saddened by the tragedy. And here's the quote, quote, the Bonfest committee is greatly saddened to announce that a man in his 50s, a UK resident, sadly died on Saturday, 30 April, while attending Bonfest, the statement read. The next of kin have been informed and there are no suspicious circumstances. Our thoughts go out to his family and friends at this sad time, end quote. Bonfest, which took a 2-year hiatus during the coronavirus pandemic, sees AC/DC fans from around the world coming together for 3 days of the best in rock music, including the greatest AC/DC tribute bands from around the world and also some very special guests. Kirriemuir was home to a young Ronald Bedford Scott until the age of 6 when his family left Scotland for Fremantle, Western Australia. Scott was invited to join the band by Glasgow-born brothers and founding members Malcolm and Angus Young in 1974 and achieved international stardom before his death at the age of 33. Talk about too young. In 1980, the singer died from alcohol poisoning. He sang on AC/DC's first 6 studio albums, including High Voltage, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Let There Be Rock, and Highway to Hell. AC/DC guitarist Angus Young told the Pulse of Radio a while back that the band almost didn't get past Scott's death. Quote, Bon was the big. He was a full-on front man, plus he had this great character, you know, he said. I mean, he just lived that rock and roll life. With Bon, what you saw was what you got, and yeah, it was pretty tough, end quote. That would actually be an interesting show to go see.
Mm-hmm. So the only issue that I see with the story was they were talking about Bon Scott dying of alcohol poisoning. I don't think that's what got him. I think the actual choking on his own vomits what took him out. But if it had been on his side, he would probably still be with us. But nonetheless.
Yeah, but definitely, I mean, you know, he's been, 1980, you know, so he's been gone, 42 years, right. 33 years old. Obviously, like I said, gone way too soon, you know. Nothing, definitely no disrespect to Brian Johnson, but it's another one of those things. What if Bon Scott didn't die? Who knows if we would have gotten like a Back in Black if Bon Scott would have survived. I mean, you never know. It's strange. Same thing with, like we talked about with Randy Rhoads. He died at 25. He only played on 2 of Ozzy Osbourne's albums. Who knows what we would have gotten or wouldn't have gotten? Because would No More Tears have been made? So I mean, it's a whole lot.
Well, that's stuff. That's the one we actually did. So,
yeah, I know. But still, you got to think the music that AC/DC did put out with Bon Scott. You wonder if we get any of that stuff, or with Brian Johnson. You wonder if we get that stuff if Bon Scott lives.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird. Do you go back and either turn Bon Scott on his side, or like at some point cut him off? Like, oh, that's enough, buddy. So I mean, do you, it's weird. Do you help to save him, or it could create like a weird do you or do you not kind of thing.
Yeah. We'll let Bill and Ted take care of that.
Right. Yeah.
So, anyway, not to get off subject, someone lost their life at a show.
Yeah. It is very sad.
And,
and he was only 53.
Yeah, so I mean, somebody there having, trying to have a good time, and unfortunately lost their life. So it's, definitely something to think about, especially if you're going to a lot of these summer festivals and stuff like that. Just make sure you're staying hydrated there and all that good stuff, because I see a lot of dehydration at these shows, especially in the summer months. I've seen some in September, so there was a few people carted out last year at the Blue Ridge from of course, alcohol does not help. So just so you know that, I know we love to drink and have a good time, but if you're dehydrated, you might want to stop and drink water. So
I was about to say, make sure you bring plenty of money for those $5 bottles of water.
Yeah, well, they weren't as much at the Blue Ridge, but. They were only two or 3 there. I can't remember, but
yeah.
Still, it's kind of crazy for a bottle of water. But
you can at least. I guess you could half-ass rationalize it at maybe $2.50. But like, I bought a bottle of water last night for $5.50. I was like, really?
Yeah, I did the same thing. So I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Then like a grilled cheese was $12. I said, really? For a grilled cheese? Like, Jesus Christ. These people. Well, we came in like you know, everybody was buying beer, so I said, well, we could drink one on the front end. That way, by the time the end of the show, I don't, you know, I'm not don't have anything going on. So as far as trying to drive, you know what I'm saying. Uh, so, so we bought the one, and I said, yeah, that's about all I'm gonna do for $15 a freaking beer. Like, get the hell out of here with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like beer that much, but all right. Well, anyway, I will try to get us back into some good spirits, I
Yeah.
guess. But uh, this one is over from Metal Sucks. There's nothing like a hometown show. Metal will always rep the places it comes from, in part due to a street level sense of loyalty, and in part because it often feels like great metal emerges from the primordial stew. So where that stood burbled forth is important. That said, one death metal band decided to come out and support their hometown in a hard way, performing alongside the Pittsburgh Marathon as encouragement to runners. The band in question, is Pittsburgh's Leprosy, who came out to cheer on runners as they charged through the Pittsburgh Marathon. Frontman PJ Colligan even left the band's tinted area apparently. Pittsburgh was hit by thunderstorms throughout the run to belt out some death growls and slap people high fives as they passed. The runners seemed into it, accepting the occasional low five that Colligan offered, though they generally come off as more tickled and confused than super fucking down to slam. That said, we are also commended Colligan and company for keeping the focus on the runners and not trying to make it a thing and make a thing out of it. If I was a participant in a marathon, some 10 or so miles into my 23-mile run, and some dude tried to mosh at me, I'd steer his eyeballs with my door key. Wow, that's pretty metal.
Yeah.
The incident was caught on camera by local photojournalist Stephanie Strasburg, who posted the following caption on her Twitter: "When people ask me why I love Pittsburgh, I will refer to this video of a local death metal band, Leprosy, playing for the Pittsburgh Marathon between thunderstorms after getting flooded out of their planned marathon spot by a clogged sewer drain." Uh, so, so that would be kind of pretty wild to have a metal band just jump out and
Yeah.
do
It'd
some
be
guttural encouragement.
it'd be fucked. Like, if it'd be messed up for us, like if you and I were running in that marathon and all of a sudden we heard that, we were like, shit, do we stop, or are we trying to
Right.
are we trying to beat a time here? I mean, what do we do? So
Pretty.
it'd be like, shit, what do we do?
And most people were probably scared. Like, oh shit, what's that? Run faster, run faster.
Hey, that could have been extra motivation for some
Yeah.
people. That's actually very true. And my dumbass need to apologize real quick. I actually do have one more death announcement to talk about. I was looking through my tabs and I was like, shit, I forgot one. So this is the last one though, I promise. Go for this week anyway. Going over to metalinjection.net. We got Howie Pyro has died at 61 years old. Pyro was a respected DJ and co-founded D-Generation, as well as played in Danzig between 2000 and 2003. D-Generation vocalist Jesse Malin confirmed Pyro's passing, say it was due to COVID-related pneumonia. Quote, "This is the hardest post I have ever had to write. Howie Pyro, my best friend and brother, has passed away. He fought real hard right till the end. He changed my life and so many others in ways I can't even begin to say. We made our world together, from Whitestone, Queens to Madison Square Garden and every crazy, dirty little place in between. I learned so much from him. He made this planet a much better, cooler, weirder, and more beautiful place. For decades, he impacted so many different kinds of people in so many different scenes all over with his style, his taste, his music, his knowledge, his art, his fashion, his attitude, his humor, his records, his movies, his bravery, his swagger, his smile, his heart, and his compassion. Thank you to everyone who bought a ticket, a shirt, donated, said a prayer, or sent a message to help him out. He really got to see the love in a huge way from all of you, and it meant so much to him. His importance and impact will never, ever be forgotten. I love you forever, my dear Dr. Howard." End quote. So.
Ah, man. Always.
Yeah. So, like I say, sorry about that. Sorry about forgetting that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah. So yeah, but that is my last one for this week. And condolences to Howie and his family also.
All right. Well, I'm going to switch over to a topic here that we're probably going to be on for a minute. Actually, I think Dan may even have some input on this if he's still around. But this one's over from Metal Sucks as well, as long as and probably a couple of other sites. I think I read this on, but I took it from there. Back in February, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame released their lineup for 2022's nominees for induction. Included on that list were seminal heavy metal band Judas Priest and influential rap rockers Rage Against the Machine. However, earlier this month, it was revealed that Priest and Rage Against the Machine weren't among the top 5 on the fan ballot for the Hall. Now, according to Rolling Stone, the 2022 inductees have been officially announced, and while Priests aren't among them, they will be awarded a consolation prize in the form of the Musical Excellence Award, which
That it isn't that technically what being inducted into the Hall of Fame should be, a musical excellence award,
right? Here are this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, and they actually put a little bit of their opinion after each one too. Eminem, of course, they were like, "Really, I like Eminem, but come on," and I kind of agree with that. I mean, like I said, I don't think I would. We've talked about this. I don't think I have much of a problem with it if you just change it to the Music Hall of Fame and quit saying it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because it's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore.
No, it
You're
isn't.
making yourself look fucking dumb as shit. I hope you know that. And and I will go on a rant. So
no, I will too. I will too. Yeah, this is gonna take a minute. So
it's just stupid.
Buckle in, folks.
Yeah. We had Duran Duran, and of course, the only thing they said was "Oi." But
well, I mean,
Duran Duran is a rock band.
They are.
They
are.
So I mean, you can't deny what they've done. I mean, they were big. They were real big in the '80s. So
they were.
Then we had Lionel Richie, and their response to that was "Huh?" But so, that was more. Lionel Richie is definitely more pop, than he was rock. So I don't get that either. But then we had Eurythmics, and they said, "Man, people love the Eurythmics. They must have had some awesome B-sides I don't know about." But oh man, they were big in the '80s as well.
They were too.
So, I mean,
they were.
So, and they were considered a rock band. So
yeah, I don't have a problem with Duran Duran or the Eurythmics. I don't have a problem with either one of those. Yeah. You could definitely. I think you could make the case that, and of course I don't know the Eurythmics entire catalog, but I mean I know more about Duran Duran than I do the Eurythmics because of my parents. But I mean I do know of the Eurythmics hits, but you could make a case that maybe the Eurythmics don't have the catalog to be Hall of Fame worthy, but at the same time, they're still a rock band. At least I can accept the fact that they're a rock band.
Mm-hmm. And then we had Carly Simon. They said black, but we get it.
Same.
And then Pat Benatar, which they said, I fucking love Pat Benatar, and I'm glad she's being honored. But her getting in and not these several metal nominees of years past feels weird to me. Not me. I think Pat,
I'm okay. Yeah,
I think Pat deserved to be
there.
I mean, you're talking about an era where her and Joan Jett and Lita Ford, those kind of women acts kind of paved the way for what we're seeing today. So I actually just went through checking out this new band I've talked to you about called Sepsis, and like there was a couple of other bands that showed up underneath their suggestions that were all female fronted. So I mean, there were like 5 female fronted bands that I had never heard of right there in my face. So and actually I take it back. One of them was an all female band, so that's becoming an even more popular thing now.
Yeah.
I've seen at least.
Well, you got Plush, you got Nervosa, you got Crypta, you got Crystal Viper, you got Burning Witches. I mean, those are just five groups, literally just right off the top of my head. I just rattle off right there.
Yeah, so I mean, they're out there. I mean, they're getting in it, and I'm all for it because like I said, it makes a great diversity of sound and music for fans. So
yeah. And hell, for my money, some of Pat Benatar's shit still holds up. So
oh hell yeah, most definitely.
so yeah, out of all of the people who made it, she was the one that absolutely deserves it, no question. Now the whole comment about her getting in over like Maiden and Priest, I don't. I don't think that's an argument I would make because it sounds like you're trying to detract from her, and that's not fair.
Well, the thing is, like Iron Maiden and Priest should have been in there 10 years ago.
Well, of course they should have.
So
Yeah.
that we should even be discussing the comparison right now.
Right. Right. Absolutely right.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Dolly Parton. You know, of course, there's obviously a bigger story there because if you remember, Dolly actually initially backed out of the nomination because she wasn't a rock musician, leading Twisted Sister frontman Dee Snider to sing her praises, and Judas Priest's own Richie Faulkner to hail her as classy. However, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame then refused to take her off the ballot, and she has since told NPR that she would accept gracefully. Well, I mean, she couldn't do anything else. I mean, they weren't going to take her off. So, I mean, it's pretty much like, well, if you win, you're going to take it. Sorry, you know.
That's.
And I don't blame Dolly for that. I mean, that's, you know, she come out and said, I'm not a rock musician.
Right.
You know, why am I even nominated? So,
right.
So you can't blame her really. So.
No.
But
it's just.
But I mean, the thing is, we have a country music Hall of Fame already.
Right.
So why are you continually putting country music artists into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't, and I never will. And you know, like last year at this time, you know, I had been doing like weekly updates on the fan voting and everything, but I was so pissed off by the way everything happened because Iron Maiden actually made the cut.
And they still didn't get
Iron Maiden made the cut, and they still didn't get inducted. So he's like, you know what? This year, I'm not even fucking with it. I'm not doing it this year.
And what's crazy is we know, you know, one of the people on the board members up there is Adam Copeland, which we all know is WWE Superstar Edge.
Yep.
And I'm sure he's probably furious at this point, because he's a big metal fan. But
yeah, and see, that's the thing is like I'm sure you know you got people who are and you know. This goes for like, you know, the political elections. Everyone's like, well, you can't complain if you don't vote. Last year, I voted every day, and the band I voted for still didn't get in. So I didn't vote this year. You know, I didn't bother.
Well, they must have had the Dominion systems there too.
Oh God. But it's just, you know, it's just ridiculous. You know, you either have two options at this point because you're a joke as an organization. Same thing as the Grammy Awards, and we've beat the shit out of them, deservedly so, up and down over the last couple of years. But you have two options. You either, like Jason said, change the name of the damn building to the Music Hall of Fame, or you fucking stop with these acts that don't deserve to be there. You're gonna keep the name, get your shit together, and put bands in there that deserve to be there. Or you want to just keep doing your willy-nilly shit that you've been doing, fucking change the name of the building. Those are your only two options.
Yeah, and you know, I honestly hope that their visitations and stuff to the museum and stuff, they're just fucking going to shithole. I really do. Like I usually don't wish that on anything, but I really do because you know you're like veering away from everything that you built it to be. And like I actually would like to go back and find out how long this has actually been going on, because if I remember right, in the beginning it was just rock bands,
right?
Yeah,
I mean that would be.
And then how long did it take Kiss to get in? Like Jesus Christ, like,
right?
One of the biggest bands of the '70s, you know. Even Led Zeppelin, I think, took them a minute to even get in. So it's
which I mean, as much as I am not a fan of theirs, that still makes absolutely zero sense.
Right.
You know, they have criteria. You're supposed to, you know, you're eligible 25 years from the release of your first studio album. That's fine. That kind of makes sense from a criteria standpoint. I mean, Zeppelin, Kiss, Priest, Maiden should have been fucking first ballot Hall of Famers. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, the fact that we're still talking about this makes me feel like fucking Mugatu from Zoolander. Does anyone else notice this? I feel like I'm making crazy.
Man.
So it's just it's frustrating.
So it was established in '83, dedicated September 1st, '95.
It opened in '83. What was dedicated in '95?
Yeah, I don't understand
12
that.
years, really?
Yeah, that's kind of wild. But maybe that's when they dedicated is when they started veering off to other shit. So
Could be.
but you had in the beginning you had let's see, the first group of inductees was January 23rd, '86, and included Elvis Presley, of course, and,
Mm-hmm.
James Brown. I get it. Little Richard, Fats Domino, Ray Charles, Chuck Berry, Sam Cooke, Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, Robert Johnson, Jimmy Rogers, and Jimmy Yancey. Which
I don't know. I don't know all of those people.
well,
But
all those people were back in the Buddy Holly, Richie Valens era.
yeah.
So I mean, they're older, older band, or not really bands, I guess, but I was trying to see. They didn't really say anything about. I don't know if I can look it up per year, but man, that's just this is a list here.
And see
Yeah,
the mess.
and it says ballots are sent to more than 1,000 rock experts. I said, really? How the fuck did half these people get on there if they're rock experts?
Yeah. You could. I mean, I was just about to say, that I know that rock and roll has long been kind of like a broad definition, but at the same time, someone sends you a ballot for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you see Eminem, Dolly Parton, last year LL Cool J. No, no, no. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, even bands like that were nominated this year, like Devo. I mean, they were still a rock band. They were out when MTV started, so so I mean, they're still a rock band. They're not, by no means anywhere near metal, but
yeah. Well, that's the thing is it doesn't. That's the thing is, I mean, we're not talking about like every metal band should get in, but I mean, like I think even the New York Dolls last year they were on the ballot, and
well, what's crazy is Iron Maiden's only year of being nominated was last year, so that's even more wild.
That makes even less sense.
Exactly,
they've been around since 1975.
Yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous. You got like Jane's Addiction on the list. I mean, you have rock bands on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Motorhead in 2020.
It took him until last year to even give Randy Rhoads an award.
Yeah. He had been dead since 80,
82.
82, yeah. So yeah, unreal. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, we could probably we literally could probably just piss and moan about this for the rest of the show, and I think rightfully so, but it's and that's the thing is I don't know what you do to change it because like I say, they have a fan vote, but in the grand scheme of things, the fan vote doesn't mean shit because like I say, Iron Maiden was in the top 5 in the fan vote last year and they were the only band not to make it.
Right. Which is ridiculous. Yeah, and what did the Foo Fighters got in though, right? I think the Foo Fighters got in.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they got in last year. I think they were like the only band that we were just like, yeah, okay. Randy Rhoads got the Musical Excellence Award too, so I guess that's just going to be their form of giving the metal artists their time on the hall is giving them the Musical Excellence Award. No.
Which is ironic because, like I said, isn't induction into the Hall of Fame the recognition of their musical excellence?
I mean, you would think. I mean,
I,
anyway, I'll go ahead and finish this story out.
yeah, we could.
It said, meanwhile, Harry Belafonte and Elizabeth Cotton will be given the Early Influence Award, while attorney Alan Grubman, record executive producer Jimmy Lovine, and R&B singer Sugar Hill Records founder Sylvia Robinson will be presented with the Ahmet Ertegun Award. Apparently, the Musical Excellence Award, which Priest are receiving alongside Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, artists, musicians, songwriters, and producers whose originality and influence creating music have had a dramatic impact on music, is the description of that award. It is, however, let's note, not an induction, right? Like Judas Priest gets a prize for having been one of the most influential bands in the world, but when it comes to an actual place in the hall, they don't get in. Commenters feel free to clarify this for me if I'm wrong. Anyway, bummer for Priest and Rage Against the Machine, but honestly, we wouldn't want to be part of any club that would have Duran Duran as a member. But that's what they said.
Well, see, that's the thing is, I mean, Duran Duran is the least of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. Like I said, I don't get it. And I'm sure there's other metal outlets out there besides. But the thing is the repetitiveness of lack of knowledge from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is what we're getting at here. It's not the lack of metal. It's just a lack of rock music in general knowledge.
Right. Yeah.
And like I said, you read it straight from their website saying they handed out to 1,000 experts, and I'm like, rock experts is actually what it said. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, well then how do half of these people get on there if you gave it to rock experts? Because that's not, half of those bands aren't even near rock, much less.
And even when you have even in Dolly Parton's case, she even came out and said, "I'm not a rock star." She even said it, and didn't even want to be on the ballot. So where this expertise comes from makes no sense at all. And here's another thing that confuses me. This has nothing to do with the hall in general or specifically, but that story that you just read, I saw it on a bunch of other sites too, and everyone was like, "Hey, Judas Priest is getting inducted in the Hall of Fame," but they're not.
No.
That's what gets me. Is I was seeing it on Twitter, I was seeing it on Facebook. Judas Priest finally gets in. They're not getting in. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, they'll technically be in a wing of the Hall of Fame,
right? But it's not the actual. It's not the actual induction wing. I mean, granted, the award is deserved, but like I said, isn't the induction supposed to be the award?
Yeah, you would think.
How do you have a separate award on top of the actual induction into the building itself? I don't understand that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't get a lot of that either.
It seems redundant for one, and kind of like convenient for another. Just like well, they didn't make it this year, but we gave them this award. What else do you want? We want them to be inducted like they should be.
Yeah, I mean, you take, like, I was just thinking, I was like, some of the people that I grew up listening to, I was just wondering, like say Bob Seger, he got in 2004, but this just gives you an idea of what they do. He had a career spanning 6 decades, so 60 freaking years.
Yep.
And he sold more than 75 million records worldwide. So why would you wait so long for somebody that had done so much to put them, like, I don't get that. Like, it just blows my freaking mind.
Yeah. So are we going to have to wait until 2035 for Priest and Iron Maiden to get in?
Well, they'll probably be dead and gone. So
that's the thing is they'll so like one of the big name members of the band will pass away, and then they'll posthumously be like, "Oh, well, hey, this is the year that not trying to put any bad karma out there in the universe, but I mean, oh, hey, one of the band members died. Let's induct him this year." You motherfuckers, So I mean,
well, so the thing is, like, Metallica was inducted, in what, 09? So so not to take away from Metallica is one of the biggest bands around, but you got to think of how many people, or how many bands was putting out music at that time and have put out more music than they have. So you would think that would be an even greater slap in the face for these people that have worked and put more stuff out, trying to get to a Metallica point, which no band would probably ever get that far. But who knows? There's plenty of young bands out there that with the right I just listened to Chris Jericho talk about this on the Eddie Trunk podcast. I was listening to it last week, but I mean it was older, of course. But he was talking about this very thing is the bands don't have media push like a Guns N' Roses and a Metallica had in the '90s. So until a band comes along to get that media, and then if they do push them, I don't think they're pushing the right bands. Like he was talking about, like you got a Greta Van Fleet and the Struts right now, which is two bands that the media is kind of behind trying to push, but you don't have a real like a hard rock metal act that are being like media push like Metallica and Guns N' Roses were.
And you can't say that the talent's not out there because that's bullshit.
Oh, it is, because we listen to it every day. So
right.
I mean, I watched a band called Afterlife open up. I want to say it was for Nonpoint, and in this moment when I went and seen them, and I met those guys, and they weren't even old enough to drink at the time. So, so there are bands out there that are younger. Just Nothing More is a pretty big band right now, and I don't think they're in their 30s, maybe early 30s. So, I mean, they're still a younger band. So I mean, we're talking about. We've talked to bands that are in their late 30s, early 40s that are still trying to get that record label. So I mean, like I said, it just depends on when you want to pursue, your time frame. It's either family first or music first, and it's hard to balance them both. It really is. I don't know if it would be. I don't know. It's probably be hard either way. So I mean, you got too much temptation out on the road if you're young, trying to do a family and be a rock star. I think you don't have the. I ain't gonna say you don't, but it's very rare that you have the what I want to say responsibility to do the right thing a lot of times when you're in your 20s. So
right.
so I mean that's why a lot of marriages didn't last. When you look back at say Tommy Lee and Vince Neil and all those guys, you knew what you were marrying when you married those guys. They're partiers, man. They loved to party, they loved women. I mean, you knew what you were getting into, and even I was sitting there whenever they would announce that Tommy Lee's marrying Heather Locklear, and I said, well, that won't last. I mean, I knew it would last because you knew how wild Motley Crue was. So, so it's just the thing. Like now they're more mature, yeah. I mean, but they had to go through all of that heartache and stuff in the beginning to get there. And I think a lot of times, just like we talked to Tim and them with Eyes of the Living, they put off their music for a little bit to have to take care of their families, which I think to me is very noble in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I think it's just a matter of like a timeline. You got to have the right timeline to follow for you. So
yeah,
and like I said, the media
doesn't help.
Well, no, not anymore, because you've got so many more outlets for media.
That's true.
You can throw your shit on YouTube and
That
Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, and people are like, "Oh, wow, check this band out." And then, word of mouth and sharing's, probably better than anything a media company can do for you right now. So,
but and hopefully there are podcasts that help.
Yeah, right. Well, we do our best, so
yeah, we try.
Like I said, we've had a few interviews, and they've all been very, very informative, and like I said, I've loved every one of them. So
Yeah, just down to earth, genuine people.
yeah, and we don't want to forget about the Defaced or one of the last. I mean,
Of course not.
those bands are definitely are good bands that have the potential of being bigger than they are. So, and hopefully,
well, we got to get the Defaced on stage more than once every 10 years, though.
Well, that's true, but yeah, he said it. Oh wow. Anyway, so.
But thankfully, Eyes of the Living are coming to Tennessee, though, so we'll actually be able to go see them. So I'm looking.
I've seen them once already, so I can't wait to check them out again since the new album came out. So
looking forward to that for sure.
All right, so that was my rant, I guess, with the Hall of Fame. You know, anytime we talk about the Hall of Fame and the Grammys, we're going to go on a rant for a minute. So.
Yes. All right. So I guess that being said, I guess it's time. I guess it's my turn again. Let's see. Which way am I going to go first? Are we going to go with bands breaking up? Are we going to go? We had a couple different directions we could go. Actually, let's go. I got a couple stories. I'm going to go over blabbermouth.net for this one, and I have one that I can follow up with. So I'll do this right here. All right, going back over to Blabbermouth. Nearly a decade after first floating the possibility of no longer hitting the road, horror punk icon Glenn Danzig has hinted that this tour with Cradle of Filth and Crowbot might be his last. Quote, I don't think I'm going to tour anymore, he told Revolver magazine in a new interview. I'm just going to fly out to a show here or there. I'll maybe be down to do some one-offs, but I just don't see myself getting on a tour bus anymore. Yeah, I think I'm done, end quote. Danzig also stated that he is in no rush to make a new collection of original music. Danzig's latest album, Black Laden Crown, came out in May of 2017 via Evil Live Records / Nuclear Blast Entertainment. I write songs here and there, he said. Lately, I seem to be writing more soundtrack stuff. I don't know that I'm ever going to do another album again. I might do an EP, or I might just record some songs and put them out for free on the internet. We'll see. It could be that right now I'm just not interested, and then a month from now I'll be in the studio. It depends. I've got to be excited about working in order to go do it, and right now I'm not that excited, end quote. Hey, you got to admit, you got to honor it, you got to dig the honesty anyway. Glenn went on to say that there's a bunch of different reasons he is feeling less inspired to make new music. Quote, I've been doing it so long. I've written so many songs. Trying to get excited about it and bringing something new or something cool, it takes a little longer now, he said. The other thing is that people are stealing music left and right. Nobody really buys music anymore. I still go in a real studio to record, so I'm not some kid in my living room doing my record, end quote. Acknowledging that Black Laden Crown seemed to be well received by his fans, Glenn said, quote, It came in top 20 in Billboard the first time since Danzig 4. I don't know if that means that much anymore these days because no one's buying, but it's kind of cool. People really like Death Red Sabbath in 2010, and people really like Black Laden Crown, so maybe I'll do an EP or something, end quote. Danzig released a collection of Elvis Presley covers, Danzig Sings Elvis, in April 2020 and has been focusing on making films, including last year's Death Rider in the House of Vampires and his feature film directorial debut, Verotica. Glenn has been talking about the end of his touring career since at least 2015. At that time, he told Cleveland Scene, quote, I love being on stage, and that's great. That's the great part of touring. I'll always do that. It's bouncing around on a bus. That's the part I hate, end quote. He continued, I'm a workaholic. When you're on the road, you don't have all your stuff with you and you can't work. A long time ago, I stopped touring and my manager asked if I would tour if they let me fly home once in a while. We did a few West Coast tours and it worked. We tried it on a national level and it kind of works. So that's why we started doing shows again. If I retired, I would find other things to do. I just keep doing what I do. Danzig added, at some point, I'll stop touring. That's for sure. Danzig's U.S. tour, which kicked off last night, Thursday, May 5th in Reno, Nevada, obviously that's 2 nights ago now, will include a special show that will see Danzig and his bandmates perform the entire 1990 album Danzig 2 Lucifuge. The track featuring From Cradle of Filth and Crowbot will end on May 19th in Austin, Texas. Last month, Glenn told 96.7 KCAL FM radio program Wired in the Empire that he is currently working on 4 different movie scripts, including sequels to Death Rider and the House of Vampires and Veronica. When it debuted at the Cinepocalypse Festival in Chicago in 2019, Veronica was compared by some reviewers to Tommy Wiseau's The Room, the so bad it's amazing drama, which is considered one of the worst movies ever made. Ouch. So who knows what Glenn's going to do? Like he said, he may say he's going to quit tomorrow, and then a month later he might be recording new music. So who knows? And then in that vein, I know I'm going to go out.
I mean, Kiss has been on the end of tours for
yeah. And then and then Ozzy had a No More Tours tour, and then he had a Retirement Sucks tour, and then
a No More Tours tour 2.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows? But then in that vein, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this other one here because it completely follows up with it. And over at Metal Injection, the good news here is that you still have a chance to see Hypocrisy on their current tour with the Agonist, Karak Angren, I hope, and Hideous Divinity. The bad news is this might be the last time you can do so. In an interview with Blabbermouth, Hypocrisy frontman Peter Tachtgren said their current North American tour could be their last. Tachtgren adds they might do 1 or 2 more, but, quote, I don't know how much more there is in our system, so to speak. No, we're not changing anything. If we bring in someone who can't do things, we're not in a good position. We turned everything upside down for the set. Hang on. There's nothing much left, he laughs. And we're doing a lot of old songs that we either never played before or that we played maybe on one tour in the mid-90s. There are a lot of changes. Of course, we have to do the hits, quote unquote, the things like that, no doubt about it. That's our obligation as a band. You want to play what people want to hear. I'm not paying for a ticket to go there, so I'm responsible for making people buy a ticket and be happy. Who knows how many tours we will do? I have no clue. Maybe this is the last American tour. Maybe do 1 more or 2 more. I don't know how much there is in our system, so to speak. Catch them at one of the dates below, which, I mean, I'm not going to read all those because I'm pretty sure we've already talked about this tour at least once. Hypocrisy recently parted ways with drummer Reidar Horghagen. I know we reported on that, and has since recruited the Crown drummer Henry Axelson, which we also reported on, as a session member for the foreseeable future. So the tour is ongoing right now. 50-50 shot. This might be the last time you'll see him in the United States. So if you're a fan, go check out the tour dates. Check them out while you can.
And cash them outside. How about that?
That's right.
All right, I got from over at Blabbermouth. This is kind of right up your alley. We've talked about this company a few times on the show here, but Puck Hockey, the hockey-based fashion brand, has released a new collection of gear with Black Sabbath. Matt Marini, CEO of Puck Hockey, says, wow, we here at Puck Hockey cannot be more proud, honored, and excited to release these collaborations with the legendary Black Sabbath. The impact Black Sabbath has had and continues to have on the music world cannot be understated. And all of us at Puck Hockey fully realize just how special it is to be able to drop this collection. We hope that the legions of Black Sabbath fans around the world find this collection truly special and enjoy wearing it as much as we do. Again, all we can say is wow. The Black Sabbath Puck Hockey collection features pro-quality crested jerseys, hockey pucks, hoodies, flannels, joggers, shorts, hats, reglans, and tees. The collection is available at www.puckhockey, which hockey is HCKY, no vowels. So
yeah,
so you got to buy those.
And that'll cost you $500.
That's right. Puckhockey.com. So like I said, Puck PUCK Hockey's HCKY.com. So if you want to check out that and plus the other bands that have been on the list before are still available on there as well. So
yeah, they do have a lot of cool collaborations.
Yeah, they do. And it's good. It's good. I like the way that it looks. So.
And being a hockey fan myself, I've gone over and looked at like the jerseys that they come out with. They're a lot of them are pretty damn cool. All right, so I will going to go over to back to metalsucks.net. This is kind of weird. That being from the author. Cradle of Filth have been pretty firmly behind their new-ish keyboard player and female vocalist, Annabelle Iratny. She has a music theory background and was apparently vital in the composition of the band's recent album, Existence is Futile. But as of today, she and guitarist Richard Shaw are no longer in the band. Frontman Danny Filth posted the following statement regarding the lineup change, quote, "It is with the gravest of sadness that Cradle of Filth announced the departure of guitarist Richard Shaw and keyboardist Annabelle Iratney from the band's ranks. Due to other commitments, Richard is passing his prestigious baton to newcomer Donnie Burbage, who will be fulfilling guitar duties throughout the forthcoming U.S. tour with Danzig alongside A-Shock and bassist Daniel Firth. We also say farewell to Annabelle and thank her for her awesome contribution on Existence is Futile, her successor being the very talented singer-keyboardist Zoe Marie Fedorov. As with Rich, the band wish Annabelle continued success in all their future endeavors." End quote. This is an interesting move. The fans were really into Annabelle during the band's recent live streams, and there was a feeling that she was a worthy replacement to Sarah Jezebel Diva, the female vocalist on huge albums like 1998's Cruelty and the Beast. There are no other commitments mentioned. Like Shaw, what happened? In any event, good luck to Annabelle and Richard in all their future endeavors, and hopefully this is just a case of I think it should be amicable. They didn't spell it that way. Just a case of amicable. Now I can't even say it. Parting ways. Get tickets for one of the band's upcoming tour dates with the aforementioned Danzig and Crowbot. Like you said, man, we segues for days, man. We got them.
Yeah.
So, and then the tour dates are listed below, and this is another one of those tours that we have already covered as far as the dates go. So yeah, good luck to the former band members, and good luck to the new band members.
Man, they got the whole future endeavor talk, man.
Yeah, they do.
Well, to segue off of that one, this is from Metal Injection. Winter Sun has parted ways with guitarist Asim Sira, who joined the band in 2017. According to a statement from the band, the split was due to not seeing eye to eye on certain things and because the band wasn't happy with everything behind the scenes, whatever that means. No replacement for Sierra. I don't know if it's Ciara or Sierra. I think it's Ciara. Maybe Ciara. Has yet been announced. We have decided to part ways with our second guitarist, Asim Ciara, who had been with us as a session guitarist since 2017. We shared good times on and off the stage, but we didn't see eye to eye on some things, and we weren't happy with everything behind the scenes. So after careful consideration, we think the decision is best for everyone at this time. We wish Asim all the best in his future endeavors. Oh, everybody's doing that now. Here's a short statement from Asim. It said, "What a ride these past 5 years have been. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank all the fans around the world. You rock, and see you all soon." Hopefully he'll bounce back and join up with another band or something. But it's always kind of I don't know, like you say, it's always a different story because we don't get the whole story. We just kind of get whatever's reported. So I always want to do a Jerry Springer type thing and have them both on the show.
Yeah.
Just have them battle it out.
Yeah. And then we can have Murray Povich come out of retirement and we can find out who the fathers are.
Yeah, right. I just have a segment on here for after a while called Metal Battles, and we'll try to get everybody on the show.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Just let them tell their side of everything.
Hell yeah.
Just have the one guy talking over here and the other guy on this side going.
Yeah.
That ain't what happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we can definitely have a quadruple screen setup right here.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we can have that. All right.
And who knows? We may be like metal psychologists and get the bands back together. Who knows?
Hey, we could be saving careers here. We just don't know yet. That's true. All right, so I know you'll have one to segue off of this one, but for my last one, I'm heading over to blabbermouth.net, back to the beginning of the segment. For the first time, Charvel is now offering a more affordable version of Jake E. Lee's hollowed SoCal guitar with the release of his signature Pro Mod SoCal. Like his USA SoCal, this instrument is based on the distinctive white Charvelized instrument the great guitarist acquired in 1975 by working at a music store to earn trade credit. Although originally a sunburst Fender Strat, it was painted by Lee's roommate who worked at Charvel as a birthday present. While he was at it, he also cut down the headstock and added a Charvel logo to it. Other mods soon followed to the iridescent pearl white guitar, including a new black pickguard and reverse slanting of the single coil middle and neck pickups, and an idea inspired by hearing the tones Jimi Hendrix was getting from playing his Strat upside down. This 25.5-inch scale Pro Mod signature offering features an alder body and bolt-on maple neck with graphite reinforcement and hand-rubbed satin urethane finish on the back. Built for high performance, the 12-inch to 16-inch compound radius rosewood fingerboard features comfortably rolled edges, 21 jumbo frets, and white dot inlays. Neck relief tweaks can be conveniently made on the fly with the heel mount truss rod adjustment wheel. A Seymour Duncan JB SH4 humbucking bridge pickup hits with a powerful low end and radiant highs, while the single coil DiMarzio SDS-1 DP111 middle and neck pickups add punch, warmth, and gain with a deeper and darker bottom end. That's what she said. This versatile axe also features a 5-way blade switch, single volume Strat style skirts control knob, hardtail bridge with black base plate, and Charvel tuning machines with pearl buttons. Primed to steal the spotlight, the Jake E. Lee signature Pro Mod SoCal Style 1 HSSHT-RW is wrapped in an iridescent pearl white finish with black pickguard, black hardware, and licensed Fender Strat headstock. Made famous during Jake's Ozzy Osbourne era, the pearl white SoCal remains a fan favorite that Charvel has now brought to Lee's legions of fans in a more affordable Pro Mod form. Quote, when I was coming up in the 80s, Charvel was the cool guitar to have, says Lee. 40 years later, it still is, end quote. Lee blazed trails in the 1980s with Rat and Rough Cut before landing his legendary gig as Ozzy's lead guitarist. His acclaimed career continued with Badlands and now Red Dragon Cartel, and Charvel has been there every step of the way. The iconic models that have always accompanied Lee in the studio and on stage are among the most requested in the Charvel collection. And I would say deservedly so with, the caliber of guitar player that Jake E. Lee is. So.
Yeah, like Ozzy has been a very fortunate guy with guitars. I will say that.
Hell yeah, he has.
You had Randy Rose, Jakey Lee's that wild.
Mm-hmm. Gus G for a while.
Yeah, a who's who of freaking guitarists.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine, right before Ozzy actually does retire for good, he has a show and he can get all of it. Obviously not Randy Rhoads, I get it, but all of the guitarists that Jake, Zach, Gus G, and just get them all to just come and play together on stage once.
I think I'd watch a 2-hour set of just those guitar battles. So,
let's put that out into the universe and kind of talk that into existence.
Since we're talking about that, I think we probably watched some of the best guitar players around right now last night. So
last night and last week, are you kidding me?
Yeah, true. But of course, the bigger names was last night, but yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I agree. The last couple of weeks have been pretty amazing with the caliber of talent we've gotten to see. So
yeah.
Kiko and Dave's guitar battles were pretty badass last night, man.
They were.
Oh man. All right.
And even Kiko Loureiro, man, he's an underrated guitar player.
He is. Yeah, I think so too. Very, very underrated. So we talk about Mark Morton and stuff like that all the time, but so there's no surprise with that. But and of course you got Matt Heafy, heading leading the hymn with Trivium. So
yep.
So yeah, definitely a star-powered concert tour for sure. So, all right, I got one from over at Blabbermouth. Epiphone, the accessible brand for every stage, presents the new Jerry Cantrell Wino Les Paul Custom and the Les Paul Custom Prophecy electric guitars, now available worldwide. The guitars mark the first ever collaboration between Epiphone luthiers and the legendary singer, songwriter, guitarist, and Alice in Chains co-founder Jerry Cantrell. The Jerry Cantrell Wino is and Les Paul custom prophecy guitars are available worldwide through authorized Epiphone dealers and via www.epiphone.com. Jury Cantrell and Epiphone worked closely together to bring to life this beloved and renowned Les Paul custom wino guitar, while the new Les Paul custom prophecy is a modern collaboration. Whether you're writing a song at home, laying it down in the studio, or bringing it to thousands on stage, the Jury Cantrell wino and Les Paul custom prophecy guitars deliver. The new Epiphone Jury Cantrell wino Les Paul custom. I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to say that in the whole story, but here we go with that again.
Yeah.
The Epiphone Jury Cantrell wino Les Paul custom is inspired by Jury's own Gibson Les Paul custom and features a stunning dark wine red finish. The Jury Cantrell Les Paul custom prophecy comes in a bold white finish and presents the perfect blend of modern and traditional features. The Epiphone and Jury Cantrell wino and Les Paul custom prophecy are made to Cantrell specifications with his personal touches throughout and are ready to plug in wherever you are. It also comes with a cup holder for your tin cups for the wino part. I'm just kidding. It doesn't.
Nice.
Cantrell recently released his new album, Brighton. The LP has received praise from critics, including Kerrang, which called it a vivid, contemporary self-portrait of one of the most distinctive voices in hard rock, a long overdue shadow of individual brilliance. Classic rock proclaimed it his best yet. The work of a songwriter who is happy with his life. It spans a broad arc of styles. The Sun commented, a rich, organic album. Brighton is brilliant. Brighton is Jerry's first project without Alice in Chains in 19 years, co-produced with film producer Tyler Bates and Paul Fig, longtime engineer. The LP got its beginnings just before the pandemic hit. They welcomed a dynamic cast of supporting players, including Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses on select bass tracks, Pusatio, I guess that's it, contributing to backing vocals, and drummers Sharon and Abe Laborel Jr. from Paul McCartney. Joe Barresi, Tool, Queens of the Stone Age, handled the mixing of Brighton. Jerry's new effort marks the first full length release since Degraduation Trip, the epic solo album he made in 2002 with future Metallica bassist Robert Trujillo and Faith No More drummer Mike Borden. Jerry's career outside of Alice in Chains has consisted of two previous solo albums and contributions to major film soundtracks. Cantrell's first solo album, Boggy Depot, was released in '98, followed by his second in the aforementioned Degraduation. God, I can't say degradation. Oh my God, I keep. Like I said, this stuff is real tiny. I probably should have had my glasses. In addition to his solo artist work, Jerry has released music on soundtracks for several films, including Spider-Man: The Cable Guy, John Wick 2, The Last Action Hero, and The Punisher. Which that was stuff I did not know. He's a lot of soundtrack stuff, man. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Epiphone guitar there if you want the wino guitar. I don't know if it whines, but you can make it whine, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that story had the same thing going on as the one that I was talking about with Gene Simmons' guitar. I couldn't.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't stop laughing because I had to keep saying the full name of the guitar.
Who made Gene's? Do you remember?
Gibson, I believe.
Gibson, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, at one point I just couldn't help but just laugh out loud because I had it was like every other sentence I had to say the Gibson, Gene Simmons, blah 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 blah. I just couldn't stop.
Well, if you crossed it all out, it would be say, "Hey, pick up Jerry Cantrell's new guitar."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. That would have been a short damn story.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you had any other current events.
Yeah, I got a couple more. So
I was all done. So
yeah, well, I knew you had those couple in the beginning that you kind of crunched together.
Yeah,
so I kind of figured I would be ahead of the game at the end. So this one over from Metal Hammer. In just a few short weeks, the heavy metal truants will embark on their 10th annual campaign to raise money for children's charities, and you can join them no matter where you are in the world with a set of virtual walking, running, or cycling challenges to choose from. The Heavy Metal Truants were co-founded by ex-Metal Hammer editor Alexander Milas and Iron Maiden manager Rod Smallwood, and together with the help of fellow heavy metal truants from all over the world, they've raised over a million pounds, which that's in English money. But for
Right.
Nordoff Robbins Teenage Cancer Trust, Childline, and Save the Children. This is about metalheads coming together for a common cause we can all agree on, says Milas. With the huge support of industry fans and artists, we've shown that metal really is a community. And with our new set of virtual challenges, you don't have to be physically with us to be one of us. And the roll call, of luminaries who've supported us is truly astonishing. Past years have seen Saxon's Bill Byford, Paradise Lost's Aaron Eady, Amon Amar's Johan Hegg, and Trivium's Palo Grigoletto joining the heavy metal truants with the support of Brian Blessed, Kiss, Bon Jovi, and many, many more, including Rob Rofe of Enter Shikari, who will be undertaking the physical challenge in June. Places for the heavy metal truants physical ride to download festival in June are still available, and registration for the virtual challenges, which kick off in May, are absolutely free. I think we talked about this where Bruce Dickinson actually joined the fold at one point too. So,
Mm-hmm. He sure as hell
so,
did.
so, so there's a lot of bands that have been down for this thing. So, it's not only cool to be a part of, but you could also ride along some of your favorite artists. So,
Yeah, and it's cool it's cool that seems to keep expanding because it just, I mean,
yeah,
it's good to see. It's always good to see when celebrities give back, whether it's athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, whatever. But I mean,
mhm,
the fact that events like that, they expand, more people get involved. I
mhm,
I always like to see that.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. And then last one over from Loudwire. If you've been following along the with nothing more social media as of late, you may have noticed the phrase "fuck the internet" repeated on some of their posts. Now that the band is selling T-shirts with a slogan on them, frontman Johnny Hawkins has explained the meaning behind the campaign. The Rockers first shared the post with a phase back in mid-March, uh, ahead of the release of the song Turn It Up Like, which was their first new release since 2018. The artwork for the single actually featured Hawkins wearing a t shirt that said "fuck the internet" written on it. And then it was used as a hashtag in some of their social posts. On April 19th, the band made their own version of the shirt available for purchase through their merchandise store. Uh, Quote, when we say fuck the internet, we basically mean fuck the noise. When we say the internet, we're talking about us. We're not really talking about the technology, Hawkins told Loudwire Nights host Tony Gonzalez in a new interview. Obviously, we love and use the hell out of the internet, as does everyone else in the world, end quote. But a lot of times when people post nowadays, it really isn't even that controversial. It just seems like, oh, here comes the internet. People with their unsolicited bullshit opinions that nobody asked for, just overwhelming virtue signaling and moral superiority. It's all that we've observed in the last few years. That's just like driving us mad. I've felt like an animal in a cage, just pacing, wanting to get out of this frustration from everything I keep observing in our culture, the singer continued. Hawkins further acknowledged the positive aspects of the internet, but added that it's brought out some of the craziest parts of humanity. While Nothing More's upcoming album doesn't have a title or a set release date just yet, Hawkins described its sound a bit, calling it their darkest album as far as subject matter goes. It just has a lot of heavier songs and more aggressive than we've ever done in the past. It's very dense. There's a lot of layers on this album. There's a lot of movements. Are there are songs that are kind of these epic journeys. So it's a big album to chew on. I think for our fan base and people who are into Nothing More, it's a lot for them to take in. The vocalist also added that some songs that they worked on didn't make it onto this album, which gives them a head start on its follow up. As a result, Nothing More will hit the road with Asking Alexandria later this month on a U.S. tour that will wrap up the second half of June. So I guess that gives an explanation to why we keep seeing the fuck the internet with Nothing More. So
Not wrong.
they're not. I mean,
He's
they're not.
not wrong.
There's a there's way too much. I think a lot of the political aspects cause a lot of that too.
Hmm.
With people trying to be, you know, political lawyers and think they know every damn thing on here.
Right. Yeah. So I think the internet in general could do a lot better with a big ass dose of mind your own fucking business sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, to me too, it's like you have to be careful what you put out there because if you do put something out there, just know that you could get some backlash from some of the stuff you
Hmm.
put out there. So
Yeah.
like I said, everybody's not going to agree with the things you do.
Well, see, and they see that,
Unfortunately,
but that's the thing is that's not really the issue. I don't think is the fact that not everyone's going to agree with you. I think the issue comes when somebody who has a differing viewpoint from you thinks that you shouldn't be allowed to say anything ever again. I think that's part of the problem.
yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was saying. Like you post something and then somebody comes along and says you're wrong, and which you can't be wrong with an opinion.
Hmm.
So that I think that's kind of where they're going with it. It's like if you're putting something out there, it's your opinion, then you're not really wrong because it's an opinion.
Yeah.
You're not trying to opinions not to to be supported by facts. I mean, it's
Hmm.
a personal opinion.
Right, and opinions can always change when
Right.
people learn new information. So I mean, if someone has an opinion on something, it's based on the information that they have at the time. And yeah, opinions can always change, but I mean, you say something that someone disagrees with, and then you're ultimately, or I should say, you're instantly Satan until the end of time. So I mean, it's
Well,
just.
and then the thing is, like we've seen some of the stuff in the past with the cops, supposedly beating up somebody or something like that. Well, and people say, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, I don't because I don't have all the information.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I usually leave it. I'm like, I'm not saying anything until I can have a well-rounded opinion that can back my opinion of why I believe that way.
Yeah.
If I come out with whatever CNN wants to show me, that don't mean shit to me because they're going to put out there whatever's going to get them more clicks and more
Mhm.
looks. So I mean, they're this is the thing people need to realize: the news is not about the news anymore. It's
No,
about
it hasn't been for a long
it's
time.
clickbait. It's news is all clickbait.
Yeah.
You know, if they can put something out there, like I've seen so many headlines, and then you click into the story and it has nothing to do with what the headline
Mhm. Well, hell, I mean,
said.
I worked for two different newspapers, when I was younger, and one of the old sayings in the newspaper industry was if it bleeds, it leads.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
mean, there's always a strategy for everything
Mhm.
when it comes to the media.
Yeah. And the bad thing is like a
Always.
lot. I think what's crazy is I think a lot of this went on before the internet too,
It
and it's
did.
like, and we didn't know that because
It did.
we didn't have any other source to go by. So if
Hmm.
you're just reading your local paper and nobody else covered it, then what are you supposed to believe? I
Right.
mean, it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's probably a lot easier to cover up shit back in the day too.
Oh, I guarantee it was. But yes, I mean, but to get back to the whole internet thing, so I mean, not to dwell on it, but
Right.
my whole thing is like, and I'm not super active on Twitter, but I mean, I've got some people that I follow, because of the Red Wings and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
use it to promote the show, and I'll post some funny shit every now and then, but like with Facebook and Twitter, I see something I disagree with, I just keep scrolling and get on with my life, man.
Yeah. He's like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I just keep on going, because like you said, whoever posts that thing is allowed to. They're entitled
Mhm.
to their opinion, and like I say, if I disagree with it, hopefully, at some point they'll read something that maybe changes their opinion or
Mhm.
whatever. But I don't let someone else's opinion ruin my life.
Yeah, and the thing, like I've actually done this recently because there's a whole big like I said, I'm not going to get into it, but there's a whole big thing right now with the Roe versus Wade stuff, and
Hmm.
it's like what everybody's talking about, and I don't post on those things because it's not I'm not a political guy, and it's not really my place, so I
Right.
just kind of just keep scrolling through or whatever. I have an opinion on it, yeah, but I'm not going
Well,
to go
sure.
out
So do I.
I'm not going to go out and try to start an argument with somebody just because they think something different.
No.
And people need to realize that's what they're doing it for. They're putting that stuff out there so we can start arguing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And because, if I ever remember a quote, I can't remember who did it, but I do remember the quote, and it was pretty much as like the government never wants you to be in agreement because then they are fearful of what you will do as a combined people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, they
so
want us. They want us
yeah,
fighting each other, so we won't
well,
be
yeah,
fighting them.
yeah, exactly. And then that's whatever they can do to get that done is what they're going to do. So
Absolutely, freaking lootly.
that's all I will say about
Yeah.
that. Because I'm, that's not what we're here for. So.
Yeah. Well, but if Dan is still listening, we gave him a little bit of fodder for the next time. Not that he doesn't have his own fodder. I know he is fodder abundant. I know he is. So
go do another 5.5 hour rant. So
mm-hmm.
which those are great.
Yeah, they are.
I can't ever stick around for the whole 5.5 hours, but I do like what I do here. So.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, I guess we could click over into notable moments in metal history here.
Yeah,
got a few here this week. So, May 1st, 1997, the house where Kurt Cobain committed suicide went up for sale. The asking price for the 5-bedroom house built in 1902 was $3 million. This was in 97, nonetheless. The carriage house where Nirvana guitarist died had been demolished. So hopefully no Kurt Cobain ghost circling around the house, but who knows?
But people have said that taking the tour of the house is a mind-blowing experience.
Well, that is true. Oh my
God. Come for the metal news and stay for the dad jokes, folks.
Yeah. So this one was kind of one I was talking to you about yesterday.
You mentioned it.
It's not really metal, but it was so freaking like crazy that you have to like say something, But
right.
Check this one out. May 1st, 2013, a Minnesota man was accused of pretending to be a member of Pink Floyd at a U.S. hospital, racked up as much as $100,000 in unpaid medical bills. Philip Michael Schaefer, 53, went in for treatment on April 20th of that year and claimed he was Pink Floyd singer-guitarist David Gilmour and that he didn't have health insurance. The man was treated and released from St. Cloud, Minnesota, hospital in Minnesota, but not before he signed an autograph for an employee's son.
Good Lord.
So I'm just like, I was reading this and I was like, man, Pink Floyd's not metal, but god damn, that's wild, dude. And the guy didn't have ID or something on him. I don't know.
And there was nobody at the hospital who could have taken 2 seconds to put 2 and 2 together. Like, this guy's in Pink Floyd and he's only 53. That math doesn't add up.
Yeah, right. Oh man. Well, I mean, he was 53 at that time in 2013. So I mean, I guess.
Okay, well, that's true. That is 10. That was 10 years ago. That's true.
Yeah. So I guess
that's true. But yeah, seriously, it was like, hey, well, can we see some ID? You just took him at his word. I mean,
yeah, right.
That's weird.
Yeah. But I mean, the guy did kind of. I seen a picture. The kind of guy did kind of look like David Gilmour. So I mean, he got away with the look part of it anyway. So
okay, well, yeah. Well, all right then. That is a crazy story.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
But I mean, what was he expecting for them to give him free health care because he was in Pink Floyd?
Oh man,
this isn't Canada, Chief. I mean,
yeah, right. All right, May 2nd, 2007, almost 2,000 musicians gathered in the Polish city of Wrocław to play a rock anthem by Jimi Hendrix. The guitarists were aiming to set a new record, Guinness Book World Record, by gathering 1,876 guitarists in the city's market square to play Hey Joe. Organizers said it was the biggest guitar ensemble in recorded history. When I did this story last time, I think I had an update on that, and I think they actually broke this record again later on. But
I'm sure they did.
I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was some years later they actually broke that record. May 2nd, 2013, Jeff Hanneman, founding member of Slayer, died at the age of 49. The guitarist, this was so crazy. Like, you would think, like, being in a metal band, you're going to die of drug overdose or something. Like, no, Jeff Hanneman dies from a fucking spider bite. Like how? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the guitarist had been suffering from necrotizing fasciitis, a flesh-eating disease that he is believed to have had contracted from a spider bite in 2011. Hanneman was being treated in a local hospital when he suffered liver failure. So obviously, some of that could have been from the poison from the alcohol or the poison from the spider. Who knows at this point?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely not not the, like it sounds like it was maybe like a brown goose or something. I don't know because it was eating away at him. So crazy, unfortunate, and gone way too soon guitar. That's
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So,
Absolutely.
May 3rd, 2004, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected an appeal by two musicians who claimed they were owed royalties from Ozzy Osbourne. Bassist Robert Daisley and drummer Lee Kerslake had fought a long running battle since 1997, with the Osbourne family claiming they were entitled to money from the albums Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife and manager, said that the pair had harassed her family and had their contributions removed from the albums because of their abusive and unjust behavior. I don't know if that's how that works, but I mean, you you, uh, you pay somebody to do a job on the album, you have to pay them. I mean, but it got so the craziest thing about that story was the very first line, the U.S. Supreme Court. Like this went to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm like, how did that make it to the U.S. Supreme Court? I don't know.
Right.
Like nobody wanted to deal with it, so let them handle it. I guess. But,
Right.
May 4th of 2000, we all remember this story very well. Metallica were demanding online music service Napster to cut off 335,000 users who they claimed had been illegally trading their songs. The band had passed on the names of all those they considered to be stealing their material over the internet in the latest development in an ongoing battle over the protection of music copyrights on the web. Always a good little battle there.
Mm-hmm.
Another a good battle they could have had with shit, I just went blank. Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh yeah, that would have been
Leader of Napster and Lars Ulrich go one on one. May 5th, 2015, American rock bassist Craig Gruber died of prostate cancer in Florida at age 63. He is best known as the original bassist of Rainbow and also played in Elf with vocalist Ronnie James Dio and had worked with guitarist Gary Moore. And then May 7th, 1992, Nigel Preston, drummer with the Cult, died in London, England at age 32. He was a founding member of the Death Cult, who also played and recorded with Sex Gang, Children Theater of Hate, and the Gun Club. So another band member gone too soon in the 32. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's all of the notable news that I had this week. So.
All right. Well, I've got a relatively short list by comparison to some weeks. For the week of April 30th through today's date, May 7th, leading off with April 30th, 2010, Rhapsody of Fire releases their 8th studio album, The Frozen Tears of Angels. Before I go any further, I forgot to mention that this week in metal history is brought to you by This Day in Metal and Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde. So check those out on Twitter and Facebook, respectively. Moving on, April 30th, 2012, Hawkwind releases their 27th studio album, Onward. Yeah, April 30th, 1976, AC/DC releases their first international studio album, High Voltage. And April 30th of last year, 2021, Gojira releases Fortitude. Moving on to May 1st, 1995, Bathory releases their 8th studio album, Octagon. And May 1st, 1991, Axel Repel releases his 2nd studio album, Nasty Reputation. Moving on to the 2nd, May 2nd, 2014, Xandria releases their 6th studio album, Sacrificium, and Epica releases their 6th studio album, The Quantum Enigma. Moving ahead to the 3rd, May 3rd, 2004, Scorpions released their 15th studio album, Unbreakable. May 3rd, 1988, Poison releases their 2nd studio album, Open Up and Say Ah, and Living Colour releases their debut studio album, Vivid, which peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200. May 3rd, 2011, 6 a.m. releases their second studio album, This Is Gonna Hurt, which debuted at number 10 on the Billboard 200. May 3rd, 2005, Nine Inch Nails releases their fourth studio album, With Teeth, which peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Wow.
Moving ahead to the 4th, May 4th, 2018, Dimmu Borgir releases their 10th studio album, Aeonian. May 4th, 2004, the Choir Boys released their fourth studio album, Well Oiled. Give something for John Cena to dance to in The Peacemaker. Angela and I just started watching that earlier this week, so we're only like one episode in, but that was funny as shit, him dancing to that. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's definitely a great show.
Yeah.
I finished it off a week or so ago. So.
Yeah, so it doesn't really spoil anything, but
no, there's a lot of 80s metal, glam metal references.
There is. So yeah, that little nugget doesn't spoil anything. It's just funny. And then May 4th, 2018, Parkway Drive releases their sixth studio album, Reverence. Moving ahead to the 5th, May 5th, 1982, Trance releases their debut album, Breakout. May 5th, 2015, 6 Feet Under releases Crypt of the Devil. May 5th, 1998, Arch Enemy releases their second studio album, Stigmata. And May 5th, 2008, Nine Inch Nails releases their seventh studio album, The Slip, which peaked at number 13 on the Billboard 200. And then jumping ahead a couple days to today's date, May 7th, 1977, UFO releases their sixth studio album, Lights Out, which peaked at number 23 on the Billboard 200. May 7th, 2013, Extrema releases their sixth studio album, The Seed of Foolishness. May 7th, 1982, Bodine releases Bold as Brass. And last but not least, May 7th, 1987, Titan, spelled Tyton, releases Mind Over Metal. So those are the historical releases from the 30th of April to May 7th. So this week in metal history.
Also, I forgot to touch up on, there was a couple of stories that I didn't want to get into like deep, but I wanted to touch on real quick. Sharon Osbourne shared a COVID update on the family. Now the whole family has the whole household now has COVID. So not only Ozzy. So prayers go out to hope they pull through. And then Daniel Radcliffe's going to play Weird Al Yankovic in the movie, and it actually looks very uncanny. So I'm just like, wow, that's actually pretty good. But so we'll see how that goes. Then Opus Michael Ackerfeld released a soundtrack for Netflix's series Clark. So little metal influence on that show if you want to check that out. So
always good.
Yeah. So that was a couple things I wanted to touch on before I got too carried away here. So, and then I guess we're going to roll over to our Hitting the Road segment here.
Yep.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know you said you had a couple pages there.
Yeah, I got a couple pages like normal.
Yeah, so so I'll kick off and let you take it home. So
all right.
All right. Texas metalcore outfit Memphis Mayfire have announced a tour of the United States, in addition to a quick stop in Canada, bringing From Ashes to New and Rain City Drive and Wolves at the Gate, which I listened to that album a while back, so be a pretty good little tour. Tour is in partnership with SiriusXM, iTunes, and Live Nation. The tour kicks off with a show set for June 26th in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Underground, before making its way up the East Coast, across the Midwest, down the West Coast, and finally finishing up near where it started with a performance in Nashville, Tennessee at the Basement, set for August 3rd. So they will be in town. So
that's right.
And then so we know how Rammstein pronounces their name. Silverstein. Are they Silverstein or Silverstein?
Honestly, I think it's Rammstein and Silverstein.
Okay, there we go.
I think that's how it's
spelled exactly the same. That's what I thought too, but I wanted to double check with you to see if you knew something I didn't. But
and hell, I'm not even 100% sure.
Well, hell, they we'll get them on the show and they can correct us.
There you go. That's right. Inquiring minds want to know.
Bloody Americans.
Yeah.
Anyway, Silverstein 2022 tour dates with Amity Affliction, Holding Absence, and Unity, Texas. I guess there may be two bands of Unity, or that's actually the band. I don't know, but I know Kubla Khan has two different versions.
Right.
So anyway, that kicks off August the 25th in Phoenix, Arizona at Marquee Theater and ends up August 2nd in Toronto, Ontario at the History. Then they have Indian folk meddlers Bloodywood. They actually announced their first ever U.S. tour, which is pretty cool. They actually kick off on 9/24, September 24th at the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, Kentucky, which I have attended in the past. And then October 13th is when it ends at the studio at the factory in Dallas, Texas. Then we, of course, have the Rammstein announcement of 2023's UK European Stadium Tour. Up to date on their current tour, 2022. They are May 16th. They'll be at Prague Airport in Letnany. August the 3rd is when that tour will end in Ostend Park de Nieuwe Cours, which I probably fucked all that up, but that's okay. 2022 North American tour now. They'll kick off on Sunday, August the 21st, 2022 in Montreal, Quebec at the Parc Jean Drapeau. And ends Tuesday, October 4th, 2022 in Mexico City, Mexico. Not a lot of American tour dates.
I think there's only like 7 cities they're going to, which is kind of a ripoff because I would love to see Rammstein.
Yeah, I would too. I mean that stage, just from the videos from the stage shows I've seen, would be awesome to see live.
Yeah.
And then, of course, for aforementioned 2023 European tour will kick off on May 31st, 2023 in Lesbon Estadio National, I guess, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
In Portugal. And it ends August 17th at Athens Olympic Stadium in Greece. Maybe that'd be a good birthday present for me next year. We go to Greece.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, let's just pick up and go across the Atlantic. Sure.
Yeah.
A great idea.
I got a fish boat. We can make it over.
We have to leave now.
Oh, I don't think I'd have enough gas for the fish boat to make it across the Atlantic. Oh, man.
That's what I'm saying. We have to leave now and bring oars. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You put your back into the oar.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Amon Amar says.
That's right.
But that is all that I had as far as hitting the road. So I know you got a lot more to add to that.
Yeah, so. I do. I sure do. For the week of the 30th through the 6th, we've got leading, as always, starting at the PRP. We have A Day to Remember with Beartooth, Bad Omens, The Ghost Inside, The Used, Movements, and Magnolia Park rotating as support acts on various dates. But the tour in its entirety starts on July 27th at the MECU Pavilion in Baltimore, Maryland, finishing October 29th at the When We Were Young Festival in Las Vegas. There is no Nashville date, but they will be at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga on August 11th, and that show will be with Beartooth and Bad Omens.
Then I was really hoping more for The Ghost Inside.
Yeah. And then let's see, we've got Stick to Your Guns and See You Space Cowboy. They have a trio of Texas dates coming up at the end of this month. May 26th in San Antonio at Paper Tiger, May 27th in Dallas at Cheap Steaks, not to be confused with Cheapskates, and May 28th in Oklahoma City at 89th Street. So if you're in the Texas, Oklahoma, city area, you want to see those guys, that's where they'll be. Then Il Nino has announced their festival dates for this year, starting on May 19th in Daytona Beach, Florida at Welcome to Rockville. Then they will be at the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta on May 20th with Down. They will be at Amplified Live. Yeah, they will be at Amplified Live in Dallas with Down. And then they're going to go overseas for some festival dates. They're going to be at the Hellfest in Clisson, France on June 26th. They're going to be at Hills of Rock in Sofia, Bulgaria on July 3rd. They're going to be at Wacken Open Air in Wacken, Germany on August 3rd. They're going to be at the Alcatraz Festival in Kortrijk, Belgium. I hope I said that right. On August 13th. They're going to be at Bloodstock Open Air in Walton-on-Trent, UK on August 14th. Then they're going to round out with Louder Than Life in Louisville, Kentucky on September 24th. Moving on, we've got Monuments, Essinger, and Sammy Baller going out on tour starting August 17th at Jewel in Manchester, New Hampshire, finishing September 25th at Leonti in Quebec City, Quebec. No Nashville dates on that tour. Then we have Terror going out on a European and UK tour starting June 17th at D-Town Distortion Fest in Dusseldorf, Germany, finishing July 9th at Woody's in Schleiz, Germany. Then we have Heavy, Heavy, Low, Low, Duck, Duck, Goose, and For Your Health and Thin going on the Repetitive Band Name Tour. That's not what it's called, but it should be. Starting June 29th at Soda Bar in San Diego, California, finishing on July 9th at the Middle East in Boston, Massachusetts. No Nashville date on that tour.
Just so everybody knows, it goes duck, duck, and when he hits goose, it's circle pit.
That's right.
Duck,
Yeah.
duck, goose, circle pit, circle pit.
Yeah. That would be a fun fucking way to get a circle pit started. God, that would be so fun. Then we've got Then we have Tooth and Nail Records and Solid State Records are coming together to put together what they are dubbing as Labeled Fest, with a bunch of different lineups with some bands, under the umbrella of their combined label. Leading off with Emery, Aaron Gillespie, and Idle Threat. The tour starts on July 5th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Masquerade and ends on July 10th at the Respectables in West Palm Beach, Florida. The tour continues with Norma Jean, Emery, Aaron Gillespie, Watashi Wa, and Idle Threat starting on August 16th at August Hall in San Francisco and ending on August 21st at the Marquee Theater in Phoenix. And then the third leg of the tour will be Norma Jean, Emery, Aaron Gillespie, Sleeper, and Salt Creek starting on September 14th at Vanguard in Tulsa, Oklahoma, finishing at Come and Take It Live in Austin on September 18th. There's no Nashville dates for this tour as of right now, but supposedly, according to the story, there will be more dates added. But as of right now, they are not coming to Nashville in any lineup form. Then we have Left to Die, Skeletal Remains, and Mortuous going out on tour in July, starting July 7th at the Haven in Orlando, Florida, finishing July 31st at the Cold Brew in Laredo, Texas. No Nashville dates there. Black Veil Brides have postponed their Australian tour until July due to a positive COVID test. They will now be in Sydney, Australia at the Roundhouse on July 7th. They will be in Melbourne, Australia for 2 shows, an early show and a late show, at the Croxton Band Room on July 3rd, if I didn't mention the date. What the fuck is this?
No, looks like some spam shit.
You see that shit?
Yeah.
Okay, that was weird. Then on July 4th, they will be at The Gov in Adelaide. And then on July 6th, they will be at Eaton's Hill Hotel in Brisbane. So, a quick little jog around the massive continent that is Australia. So we have Voivod and Year of the Cobra going out on tour in June, starting June 1st at L'Entity in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, and finishing on June 19th at Brighton Music Hall in Boston, Massachusetts. No Nashville date there. We have Cognitive and Tombstoner going on a quick 2-week tour in June, starting June 14th at St. Vitus in Brooklyn, New York, finishing June 26th at Warehouse in St. Catharines, Ontario. No Nashville date there. Then we have August Burns Red. They are canceling their June European tour plans due to the rising transportation costs, but the band will still be on tour with Barry Tomorrow, Miss May I, and Thornhill, starting on October 21st at Chalk in Brighton, UK, finishing November 26th at Skaters Palace in Munster, Germany. Then we have Full of Hell, Blood Incantation, Vermin Wound, Mortuous, and God is War going out on tour starting September 13th at Gothic Theater in Denver, finishing October 7th at Underground Arts in Philadelphia. No Nashville date for that tour.
Ontario.
Yeah, Ontario. That's what I said. Then we have pianist duos Duo Jatikok and Duo Abelard have been announced as the openers for Rammstein's 2022 European, UK, and North American stadium tours. So I have no idea who those folks are, but I saw that this morning and figured it would be kind of relevant. So there you go. If you want to see some piano players play for Rammstein, there you go. And then the only other one I got from one of our contributors, one of our members over at the Facebook group, which is fantastic. This comes from L.A. Kusher. We have Filth, My Own Will, Until the Dead Walk, Autumn Lies Beneath, and Fight from Within going out on tour starting August 4th at the venue has yet to be announced, but it will be in San Marcos, Texas. And then finishing on September 2nd at Ground Zero in Spartanburg, South Carolina. There's no Nashville date for that tour, but they will be at the Concourse in Knoxville, Tennessee on August 11th. So that concludes the Hit in the Road segment for this week.
Sorry, I was looking through to see if I could find that comment. So, yeah, I don't know where it was at. It says it's on Facebook, but I don't see it. So
yeah, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah, me either. But whatever. Yeah, that's wild. I'm glad that Dr. Ehrman cured you of your hepatitis there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you. I mean,
yeah. Maybe he could wipe your fucking computer of a virus as well. But
right, exactly. Actually, it looks like we may have the fucking computer virus now. I mean, if we're getting this shit show up in the live chat here, fucking God Almighty.
Anyway,
right.
All right, I guess we will. Let's kick over to our top 10 metal songs of the week.
Yeah.
In honor of Mother's Day. I did not realize that Mother's Day was
tomorrow.
So quick this year, man.
Yeah.
It's usually in the middle of the month, and it's like, wow, it's already here. Like, wow.
Yep.
So we decided to do the top 10 metal songs with women's names involved there, and of course I got two Mother's Day related songs as well, and I don't know. I think we got plenty of backup from what
we do. We do. So yeah, this one may end up because of the holiday and the importance of it. You know, all of the mothers out there. We may make this an expanded playlist for you guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah. Well, I'll kick this thing off here. My first contribution here was Queensryche, Della Brown. That was from the Empire 1990. Then next one I went back a little ways for. Went back to 1988, which was a couple of years earlier, I guess.
Nice.
Took Winger Madeline from the self-titled album in 1988.
Well, bringing Winger back.
Yeah, might as well.
Throw Kip a bone every now and then.
Yeah. The third one I had was Guns N' Roses' Mama Shell from Appetite for Destruction in 1987.
That's a good one.
And then I had Motley Crue, Angela from the Supersonic and Demonic Relics of 1999. Then I took Volbeat's Lola Montez from the Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies 2013 album.
Okay.
And then I got Killswitch Engage, Rose of Sharon from End of Heartache 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Flyleaf Cassie from Flyleaf 2006.
Okay.
And then I have Breaking Benjamin, The Diary of Jane from Phobia 2006. And then I have In This Moment, Joan of Arc from Ritual 2017. And last but not least, I have Megadeth's Lucretia from Rest in Peace 1990. Go a little mythical goddess there.
That's fine. All right, cool.
And then, of course, the two Mother's Day songs that I had related was, of course, Danzig's Mother and then In This Moment's Mother. So,
Well, yeah, that just makes sense.
yeah.
Yep, that makes total sense. All right. Well, we had 3 overlaps, but that's fine because we got plenty of others. So yeah, leading off, for obvious reasons, I went with Angela by Motley Crue. I got mine off the Decade of Decadence from 1991, but of course, my wife's name is Angela, so I went with that one for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I also had Joan of Arc by In This Moment from Ritual 2017. And I also went Rose of Sharon from Killswitch Engage, The End of Heartache 2014. That one, you get a 2 for there.
Yeah.
Then I went with Bloody Angel by Avatar from Hail the Apocalypse 2014. Then I went with Jenny's Crying by Dope off of Life from 2001. Then I went with Illusions of Hope from Hatchet off of 2018's Dying to Exist. Then I went with Dyer's Eve by Metallica off of And Justice for All from 1988. Then I went with Sherry Vegas by Cold Chamber off of Chamber Music from 1999. Then I went with Terrified, Tera-FIED, because Wayne Static's wife's name was Tara. So off of by Static X off of Cult of Static from 2009. Then I went with Dust Be the Destiny by Devil Driver off of Pray for Villains from 2009. And not to be outdone, the extras that I had, which, actually, you know what? I'm not going to tell you guys what the extras are on the air. I'll tell Jason about them, but I'm not going to tell you guys what the extras are on the air. So,
because I had 2 other extras too,
because I've got plenty. So what we're going to do is we're going to, the last few weeks we've been officially collaborating on these playlists. So I'll post the initial playlist, and then Jason will add his, and we'll make one big huge Mother's Day playlist for all the mothers out there. So happy Mother's Day to all of the ladies out there. We appreciate you all and everything you do for all of us. But yeah, you'll have to check out the playlist to hear it in its entirety. So it will be available at Spotify. All you'll have for anybody who's not in the Facebook group, we do have you can look for the playlist if you want to listen to it. It's on Spotify. All you have to do is type in Metalheads Unite Presents, and then you'll find you'll find all of the weekly playlists that we post. So this week's will be Metalheads Unite Presents Mother's Day. So there you go. But you'll be able to.
I was actually trying to find last week's. So
yeah,
since I got behind here and forgot, so leave it to me. I think I have to do it on this one, which is weird because I think I have to do it from the page and not the group.
Which is really odd, but yeah, but there it is right there. Yeah,
it's fine. I mean,
so there it is right there. That's last week's playlist.
Mm-hmm. There was colors. Yeah,
colors.
And, this week I actually started a playlist. I just haven't gotten the weekly up yet, so I apologize for that. But there's a lot of stuff going on this week. So.
Yes.
So, anyway, all right. I guess we will kick over into album reviews. I actually didn't go off of the rails too much this week. I actually took on three heavy hitters. So I apologize for that, but I was like in the car most of the time, and I was like, well, and that was actually 3 albums that I wanted to listen to that I wanted to check out. So I was checking those out, and then I never got time to check out anything new, so that I haven't heard of. So
yeah, well, that's fine. That's totally fine. sometimes when, one of the, like you said, the heavy hitters, sometimes, they come out with those,
Well, there were so many this week, so
Yeah.
it was like I said. I listened to. I do my official review on Upon a Burning Body. If you don't know much about Upon a Burning Body, they're an American metalcore band from San Antonio, Texas, formed in 2005. Current members are Danny Leal, lead vocals, Ruben Alvarez, lead guitar, Tito Felix drums, and Thomas Alvarez on bass. So this this is their fifth studio album, 11 songs, 31 minutes 19 seconds. So it's not a real long listen, but the album's called Fury, and it's definitely anything you would expect from Upon a Burning Body. It's definitely an in your face record. Not like the only slow song on it is the actual instrumental in the middle of the record. So, which was kind of a good thing, to have it in the middle, not kind of not like an interlude or anything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so let's see real quick. So sweet, yeah, sweet serenity was the instrumental, and it's like probably right in the middle. Actually, it's the ninth track on it. No, eighth track on it. So it's kind of a little bit over the middle, but it's still pretty well placed, I think. So it's not in the beginning or the end. So it's kind of like it's a standalone instrumental, I guess I should say. So it's not like an interlude or outro. So which was pretty cool. But like I said, it's definitely an in your face record. So nothing. Nothing unsuspected, I would say.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're familiar with Up on a Burning Body, they're definitely a peel your face off type band. So, but I definitely enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 horn out of 5. So definitely worth the listen. I also listened to Fozzie's Boombox. Chris Jericho's fronted the band. So this is their 8th album. So it was 12 songs, 46 minutes, 17 seconds. I didn't really expect a whole lot from this album, mainly because I mean, I guess when you have an album as big as Judas was, it's kind of hard to follow that. I guess is where I'm going. I mean, because Judas was a great album, um, and with that being said, like Boombox came around, and like all the singles that they released are freaking awesome. But there are a
Mm-hmm.
couple songs on there that were not bad songs. They were just more um, a couple ballads on there that you kind of didn't expect. But yeah, it wasn't as it was good, but it wasn't as good as Judas. I don't think. I think Judas is still probably one of their best albums. So I'd probably give that one like 3.5 horns. And then yeah, one more somewhere. Oh, it's on the other side.
Oh, you got a B-side review.
Yeah, I got a B side. Yeah, I
got a B-side. All right.
Then I also listened to Hailstorm's new album, Back from the Dead. Uh, I was kind of hoping they were back from the dead from the couple of songs that I did hear. This is their 6th album, 11 songs, 37 minutes, 46 seconds. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there is familiar with Hailstorm. Uh, wasn't like I say, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary for Hailstorm. So it was well, somebody killed our visitor there, so that's good.
Oh yeah, I did.
Did you?
I did. I was like, I wonder if I could like get rid of this, and it said I could delete it.
If you log in as admin, you can. Yeah.
So I had the power. So yeah, I got rid of it.
Power invested in me. You are ousted.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the Hailstorm album wasn't nothing out of the ordinary for Hailstorm. It had a couple of heavy hitters on there. Then a couple of the real thing that bothered me, and I told you this last night, was they have a song on there called "Raise Your Horns," and it was a ballad. I'm like, no, god damn.
No, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's kind of that kind of put the nail in the coffin for me. But they did have some good tracks on there, so it's not a total loss. I would probably give it 3 horns out of 5, but so definitely "Upon a Burning Body" was the best one I listened to this week. So.
Yeah. Well, cool. Very cool. All right. The only one that I got all the way through was the one I told you I was going to get through. I got through the Ibaraki album titled Rashomon, which, if you guys aren't familiar with who Ibaraki is, that is actually the new extreme progressive metal / metalcore project from Trivium's Matt Heafy. The lyrical theme here is Japanese legends. I read a story about it. He's wanting to go back and kind of put into musical form the stories he was told as a kid. You know, he does have Japanese descent in his family. This is the debut LP for this project, of course, and according to Encyclopedia Metallum, he is the only credited member of the group. So, not exactly sure who played all of the instruments for him, but
It's actually a cool concept too. I like the concept.
Yeah, it's neat. And so it is it's 10 tracks in length. It is 1 hour and 1 minute long. So, but it actually, for it being 61 minutes long, it was actually a pretty quick listen. It was actually pretty good. Track number 1, and all of our Japanese listeners, you'll have to forgive me here. I'm going to do the best I can to pronounce all these, but I am just a gaijin, so you'll have to, you have to give me a break here. So, but track 1 was one of those minute and a half, instrumental introductions. But this one I didn't mind because I know the theme he's going with, and this one fits. So, you can always make exceptions, and I'm going to make an exception for this one. But track 1 was Hakanaki Hit Susan. That was a minute and 28 seconds. Track number 2 was Kagutsuchi at 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Track number 3, Ibaraki Doji at 7:51. Track 4, Jaikogu Dayu at 7:40. Track 5, Tamashii no Haukai at 5:58. Track 6, Akumu at 5:53. Track number 7, Komorebi at 6:06. Track number 8, Ronin at 9:13. Track number 9, Susanu no Mikoto at 7:12. And track number 10, Kaizoku at 2:53. So, like I say, I hope I didn't mispronounce any of those too badly. I definitely don't mean any disrespect. So, this was a very interesting album. Before I get into that, there were some guests though. Track number 6, Akumu had a guest appearance by Adam Nergal-Darsky of Behemoth. Track number 8, Ronin, had a guest appearance by Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance. And track number 9, Susanoo no Mikoto, had a guest appearance by Isan of Emperor. So there were some guest appearances on this album. So that was very cool. So my daughter will be interested to hear that the guy from My Chemical Romance was on here. So
yeah,
she kept talking about the My Chemical Romance tour last night.
Yeah,
so.
she was bummed about that.
Yeah, she was. So yeah, this was a very, very interesting album. It was, it's supposed to be, Matt Heafy's extreme progressive metal project. But the funny thing is I thought it was going to be a lot heavier and darker than it was. And that's definitely not an insult, but I was expecting something more death metal than it was. There's still a lot of Trivium elements in here, but when I talk about diversity, I really mean it. In track number 2, there was a part during the song where it basically went in a jazz direction. Wow. I was like, wow, this is definitely different than I was expecting. And then it went right back into, and I was like, holy shit. So, so it went one. So it took a left turn and then took a complete, hard right back onto the road. So, so there were jazz aspects in some of the songs. Some of the songs he sang in Japanese, which obviously you could expect. There were some how do I want to put it? I don't know. There was some I guess it's kind of folksy. There was like a little bit of folk, like Japanese folk that was thrown in there. Um, and then there was some I don't want to call it necessarily kind of I don't want to call it medieval because it's not the region of the world he was referring to, but kind of had a medieval sound to it at certain points. But there were some other slower aspects, not kind of not necessarily ballady because obviously it wasn't a love story, but that same kind of pace. And then there was, I can't remember what track it was towards the end of it may have been Ronin or Susuno no Mikoto, one of those two tracks. I can't remember which one it was, where it kind of went there's kind of like a gypsy nomadic kind of theme sound going on with it. But yeah, this was it was very, very diverse, thematically, from, different tempos, different themes, like I've already talked about, not trying to be redundant there, but definitely a lot different than I was expecting this to be, considering he was talking about this being like a his experimental kind of black metal album. So I was expecting it to be a lot more guttural and heavy than it was, but I was pleasantly surprised. So, I liked it. There was a lot of twists and turns in the pacing and all that stuff. So I liked it a lot. Obviously I couldn't understand the lyrics that were in Japanese, but that was a nice twist, considering that was the overall theme that he was going with. So it was a nice twist. So, and that obviously the language barrier doesn't stop us from listening to, like, Rammstein and stuff like that. So definitely not a deal breaker, but so I'm going to give this one 3.5 horns out of 5.
Cool.
The only other one I listened to, I started listening to that Motor Sister project. Mm-hmm. It's not bad. Of what I've heard of it so far, it's not a metal album. It's a hard rock album with, like, more swearing than I would have expected. I was like, woo, okay. Little, quite a few more F-bombs than you would have expected on a hard rock album, but hey, they're in there. So, but yeah, I'm gonna probably try to listen to the rest of it, but I may have gotten halfway before I jumped on here this morning. So,
cool.
But yeah, it's from what I hear, it'll be worth finishing. And then yeah, if you're a fan of Trivium, I think you'll like the Ibaraki project, if you don't expect it to just be basically just an offshoot of Trivium. Like I said, there are aspects in there, you can hear them obviously because they're in there, but it's definitely not all Trivium. So
yeah, I think that's the thing with when they start doing side projects, is you would kind of expect it to be different. You don't want it to be. Because if you just go out there and you sound like Trivium, then it's just another Trivium album. So
right. Yeah, it's just Trivium with extra steps.
Yeah. and it wouldn't be no purpose for him to do that. If you're trying to do that, then you would just make another Trivium album, which he's proven that he's not in a form of waiting to do that either. So
right.
he puts them out pretty fast. So so yeah, you kind of expect it to be different. So.
Yeah, which it was, and I actually liked that it was different.
Mm-hmm. That's like a lot of side projects. You see bands do, and then you're like, oh well, that sounds like their regular stuff. Which then that's not what you should be doing if you're going to try to do something on the side. If you're doing something on the side, you want it to sound different. So
yeah. All right, so let's see. What do we got coming up for Friday the 13th? Ooh, spooky. Ooh. We have, leading off, we've got The Big Deal with First Bite. We have the Black Keys. Why they're on this list, I have no idea. With Dropout Boogie. We have Cage Fight with a self-titled album. We have Carnivore with a re-release of their self-titled album. Then we have Demaritius with 3, Chaotic Lethal. We have Dishwalla with Alive. That's an EP for them. Okay, I don't know why they're on here either. But again, everyone's definition of rock and roll is different, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Ecstatic Vision with Elusive Mojo. We have the Graham Bonnet Band with Day Out in Nowhere. We have JBO with Planet Pink. Hello. We have Jungle Rot with A Call to Arms. We have Master Boot Record with Personal Computer. Okay. Then we have Max Creeps with 9. That's the German no, Nein. Actually, that's one of the few German words I know, 9. We have Misery Index with Complete Control. Moontooth with Phototroph. Oh, shit. I don't have no idea how to pronounce this. Nechachwen, I guess. I have no idea. Nechochwen. I have no idea how that's pronounced, but their album is Kanawa Black. Okay. Then we have Opeth with Incauda Venenum. They're coming out with an extended edition of that. Then we have the Pineapple Thief with Give It Back. Primitive Man with Insurmountable. That's an EP there. We have Skills with Different Worlds. The Smile with A Light for Attracting Attention. Visions of Atlantis with Pirates. And 0 Hour with Agenda 21. So those are the new releases that Loudwire has listed for next Friday, Friday the 13th. So
cool. It's extremely. I don't know. I need to look up and see what happened with Shinedown's album because it still hasn't showed up on anywhere, and it's supposed to went out like 3 weeks ago. So
yeah, and I still have no idea what happened with that Dynasty album that I was going to review.
So,
still have no idea.
Evidently, some stuff's getting pushed around, but could have.
But it would be nice. It would be nice to throw us an update for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Update and let somebody know. I mean,
yeah.
Let's see what this says. You know what? You can always go. I'm gonna go here real quick, just to see what the release says here. Well, if I could spell, I would probably be in good shape. Jesus Christ. There it is. Let's see here. Shotdown got pushed off to July 1st.
Oh, okay.
So that's right there. And then let me see if I can find out about Dynasty. You remember the album name for that one?
Oh Jesus. Hang on. No, I don't, but I still have the list pulled up.
Oh, August the 26th.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah, Final Advent looks like so.
That's right.
Yep. So you got pushed to August the 26th. So.
Huh. Well, Loudwire doesn't have the update on the Shinedown, and it doesn't have the update on the Dynasty either.
Yeah. So I just went into Amazon and tried to I'm ordering it, so then it would tell you when it's released. So.
Oh, that's a cool little shortcut there.
Yeah.
So July 1st, August 26th. Okay. Well, I mean, at least we
got a little ways to go. So
a little bit of clarity now, anyway. So that's good.
Well, I always hate when it just gets skipped over and we don't know any info. So I'm just like,
right.
Oh, well, I guess it'll come out when it comes out. I don't know.
Yeah. Considering that we're trying to be a purveyor of said information, So.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
When we say one thing and it gets pulled out from under us with no explanation or anything.
Yeah,
so
not very cool, but
nah. Not cool, guys. Not cool.
Anyway, I guess that will wrap this one up for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be back next week with a new episode with updated news and hopefully a list of albums that actually come out. But
yeah, no kidding. Yeah. We we never know. We never know until Friday. We never know.
When we try to look for it, it's like not there. Like,
so sometimes we have to like shift on the fly. So it's like I'm gonna review this one. Oh shit, not anymore. But.
Or we get into it, like, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah.
This is this isn't even rock, much less metal, but
which does happen every now and then. One of them sneaks onto the list, inexplicably. So it has happened before. So unfortunately, we won't have any, at least as of right now. Who knows what the future holds? But as of right now, we won't, as far as we know, have any concert reviews to do next week. Unfortunately, so
no, not next week. So
yeah. But those have been fun to do, though.
Yeah, I definitely have to take a little break and build up the bank account again because, man,
because there are shows we want to see in the summer. So
I didn't realize till last night we were talking about it. Man, I've been to 4 shows in 6 weeks. It's pretty compacted there. So
we
gotta spread it out a little more.
Yep. If only for the sake, like you said, of the bank account. It's not for lack of desire of going to see shows. Yeah, it's never that.
And then of course I plan on hitting the Blue Ridge Festival up this year again. So so save up for that as well. So and then if I don't think we mentioned that. So if you are a follower of that, Blue Ridge just posted that they got a big announcement coming up on Monday. So
apparently the biggest announcement.
Saying it's the biggest band they've ever had to perform there. So we will definitely interested in seeing who that's going to be. So I mean they're not having any problem selling tickets, but so it probably isn't going to make a whole lot of difference.
Right. But, because they had their logistical issues last year, but they didn't have any problem getting bands, and they haven't had a problem with that this year either. They are really pulling in some quality talent. So with that said, that's going to be interesting to see who that biggest group.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying the biggest group to ever play on that stage, which you already look at some of the bands that have played there.
I know.
You got I think Disturbed's on the bill this year.
They are.
And then you've had Five Finger, and you've had I don't think they had Guns N' Roses. That was at Louder Than Life. They've had was it Five Finger, and then Rob Zombie headlined one night there. Megadeth and Lamb of God, all those were there last year. So you got to think they're bigger. Obviously, according to what they're saying, they're bigger than those bands. So so it's kind of wild to see. I mean, you think it would have to be at least a near Metallica caliber type band. So it's kind of interesting to see who they come up with. I'm kind of leaning toward a Slipknot, but that's just or Mudvayne or somebody of that caliber. But I'm still not certain that you could say that those bands are any bigger than what they've already had. So.
True.
So it's going to be kind of interesting.
It'll be Monday. Will be interesting for sure.
So we'll see. It may be disappointing.
It's possible.
So you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe My Chemical Romance and your daughter will want to go. So
it could be Dolly Parton.
It could be, yeah. Which we actually left Jolene off the list this week too. So I don't know
shit, we did, didn't we? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, fuck us, right? I mean,
Yeah, right. Oh man. No offense, Dolly. We still
no offense towards you, Dolly. I mean, you admitted you weren't a rock star. It's not your fault, man. It's not your fault.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Yep.
We will be back next week with all the news and stuff that you love. So until then, thank you guys for all stopping in with us today. It was kind of a good little show. That was kind of we spiraled a little bit, but that was kind of we knew that was coming. Talking about the Rock Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 2 hours and 45 minutes is pretty much becoming the benchmark.
Yeah, that's pretty benchmark. Yeah, pretty much. So,
which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. So, But yeah, thanks for coming by, everybody. Check us out, every week right here. You can find us at vopusaradio.com, also on the VOP USA Radio mobile app, at all your app purchasing and procuring avenues there. We are on YouTube. We have Metalheads Unite on YouTube. We're at Twitch. We're everywhere.
Twitter, Facebook.
We're everywhere. Yep. We have the Metalheads Unite Facebook group over there. We're slowly creeping up on 400 members, which is cool. We've passed 350 last week, which is nice.
Terrific.
Yep. Thanks to everybody over there. And the never used Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com email address is still available for anybody who may want to use it.
We're going to have to start a TikTok so we can start getting messages, I guess. So.
We actually, that is one thing you and I have discussed. So we may be available there before too long as well. So plenty of places to find us. Come and check us out. And like I say, we will post the Mother's Day playlist on Spotify for everybody. Like I say, search Metalheads Unite Presents. You'll find us there. Everybody at the Facebook group will get that by default, just like U2's new album. So so that'll be over there. So
and we are easier to find than Jimmy Hoffa. So
yes, by a lot, actually.
By a lot, yeah. All right, guys. We'll close this out. We will see you right back here next week. Until then, keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can.
Unless it's for redneck, then get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, back up. Back it up, Terry.
Have a great week, you guys.
Yeah, see you guys next week.